China to quit threatening the island and accept the existence of its democracy.
He very much followed the line taken by the previous president, Tsai Ing-wen, when he talked about China, so holding very firm to the idea that Taiwan, under its official name, the Republic of China, is an independent sovereign nation, and that it will stand up for itself against China, but also that he's not going to change the status quo. So looking to America, looking to Taiwan's friends and allies and saying, look, I'm basically a safe pair of hands, you don't need to worry, and we want to maintain basically the situation that has been here for the last 8 years under President Tsai.
That's BBC's Rupert Wingfield Hayes. An inquiry has found that British authorities and the Public Health Service knowingly exposed tens of thousands of patients to deadly infections through tainted blood and blood products, and then hid the truth about the disaster for decades. News and analysis, townhall.com. There may be another investigation into allegations of gambling by a baseball player.
A person with knowledge of the situation tells the Associated Press player David Fletcher is being looked at for allegations of gambling on sports with a bookmaker who also took bets from the interpreter for the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani. ESPN's reported Fletcher placed bets with Matthew Boyer, an alleged illegal bookmaker in Southern California. And the network said Fletcher, who currently is with the Braves' AAA affiliate, bet on several sports, but it wasn't baseball. The league prohibits players and team employees from wagering on baseball and also bans betting on other sports with illegal or offshore bookmakers. Fletcher and Ohtani were teammates with the Angels. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Ahead of this morning's opening bell, the S&P futures up 3 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Well, weekend always goes so fast.
It's the Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Indeed.
Last week of school for the kids here in Roswell.
Shut up.
So, a lot of excitement this week.
Yeah, I know your wife's super excited.
She's been counting down the days for weeks now, and yeah.
She have one of those tearaway calendars.
Over the weekend, it's like last week.
I imagine as many years as Kim has been doing this, at this point, it's like the last week, it turns into like she's etching it on the wall like a prisoner, scratching it in.
Well, that's how the tunnel started. You know, she was etching in the market, and then a big hunk came off, and then we had to get a poster.
A poster? I was just going to say. Like cover up the hole.
Just like Shawshank.
Next thing you know, we're in Zihuatanejo.
That's right.
It's the darndest thing.
Next thing you know, we're looking for a tree in the middle of the field. But,
a rock that doesn't look like it should be there.
But yes, it is the final week.
Indeed.
Excitement is aplenty here.
How was your weekend?
Good. Of course, first off, got a baseball playoffs. Of course, Goddard fell to Artesia in the semifinals on Friday. And then Artesia fell to Grants in the championship game.
How's it feel, Artesia? You ate your own. Yeah, we could have gotten this together. You could have sent Goddard to the finals, and we could have made it all the way. But no, you had to be selfish. You had to eat your own. How does it feel, Bulldogs?
Well, no fairness, they wanted the blue trophy.
I don't care.
But Grants ended up winning the state title there, so congratulations to Grants there, and good seasons for both the Bulldogs and the Goddard Rockets. Obviously not the ultimate end game that they wanted there, but congratulations.
But good for Grants. There's not a lot of good that comes out of Grants, so it's nice that a little bit goes good goes back.
And Goddard was the 1 seed, Artesia was the 5 seed, Grants was the 2 seed. So in theory, if you look at all things, Artesia was the underdog going into that semi, although that's a little bit not accurate because they play each other 50 times before, and last time they'd met, I believe Artesia won during the tournament there, or during the district.
Oh yeah, and any given game day, it's really just who's feeling what on what day.
It's one of those times that, we always talk about the NMAA and how they plan the things, and we're pretty sure they did one in all Southeast New Mexico championship game. So they were like, well, let's make sure Goddard and Artesia are on the same side of the bracket. So, but anyway, we can have those debates all day. But Grants ended up winning the whole enchilada there. So congratulations.
Congrats to Grants.
Yeah. Weekend was good. I had in-laws come in Saturday, so we kind of hung out, visited for a little bit, went out to dinner, and got our tacos and all that.
Got your taco on.
Yeah, they come to town. They eat Mexican. That's what we do. And so we had
food, Mexican food.
Yes.
Not Mexicans.
So we went to the place that everyone loves, Cerritos, and had our tacos and all that good stuff.
Heck yeah.
Sunday, pretty low key. Did some errands and bought some clothes, which found out I'm not skinnier now. It made me happy.
Which, that was Mike was walking around. He's like showing off his waistline.
Yeah. Well, because I put on shorts, really. Shorts that require like loops, like I wear shorts around the house, but I really been like wearing shorts.
You tend to wear shorts with elastic in them. You wear shorts that button that are like dock shorts.
Yeah, when I go out, And so I was putting on some over the weekend because it was like 100.
Sure.
And I was like,
is that all?
Yeah. And I'm putting my shorts on. I'm like, they won't stay up. I mean, even with the belt, like I was literally like putting the belt all the way to the end. And I'm like,
you remember that game that they used to play on Double Dare? We had to catch the cream pies.
I could do that with my shorts.
Yeah.
It's so
black man can't go camping.
So I went and got shorts
nice.
Over the weekend, and I was surprised thinking it'd be like maybe a size or 2 down, and I'm now wearing 32.
Boom.
Which I ain't gonna lie, I'm bragging.
Dude,
I ain't worn 32.
That's pretty awesome.
I haven't worn like 32 since like I think sophomore in high school.
One of the best feelings, like the big drops, and I've only ever experienced this one time in my life, but those big drops where I went from a 42 waistline to a 38.
When you hit to the 30s,
and then 36, and I think I bottomed out at 34 is where I bottomed out.
Yeah, okay.
I'm at 36 now, comfortably.
And that's such a huge difference in 42.
It's massive. There was I'll have to find it. It comes up every year on Facebook. But at the height of my keto, and this was like Wonderland. I was like 199.8. There was a picture that I took of myself with both my legs in one leg of my fat pants.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my Jared picture.
Right. That
before all the other stuff, that was my Jared picture.
He's got a new picture
without all that other nonsense.
But yeah, and you're right. It's amazing. And I ain't gonna lie, I was like, wow, this is because I like in high school I was like the predominant 36, military is 36. At my fattest, about 5-10 years of my marriage, I was about at 42 at one point. And
don't look down at 42. I was 44.
I'm 5'8". I'm 5'8". You're like 6'2" or something. I'm 5.
Not much difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference. When you're a bowling ball, when you got that extra 4 or 5 inches to carry that, it does make a difference.
Fair enough.
But anyway, yeah. So when I hit the 32, because I was like, I went and I grabbed a pair. I was like, 30. Let me grab 36, and I was like, holy cow, I'm swimming in these. I was like, all right, let me grab 34 and 32 just to see, and then I put the 32 on.
Just as a joke, we'll grab 32.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and I put the 32 on first. I'm like, wait a minute, these fit. Let me sit down. They don't bunch. They don't. Wait a minute. I even got like wait. I was
Let me bend.
Yeah, I was.
Let me lunge.
This is how normal people wear pants. And
holy moly!
So I was happy. That was my win for the week.
Nice. That's a definite win.
32.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's awesome when you can drop that many sizes and you just feel like a whole new person.
I do.
A much smaller person.
Well, and I needed clothes because we're going to go on our vacation here next month, and we're going on our cruise here, and so I wanted to get some new shirts and pants and things, and I got a few shirts over the last month here, but I was like, man, when I put the shorts on, like, wow, my shorts are not going to cut it.
Yeah. Now I will. I'm going to tell you this: as you head into a tropical climate,
Yes.
I know you're going to have access to plenty of air conditioning and lots of fruity rum drinks.
Yes,
Please stay hydrated.
I will.
Cause, dude, I almost died this weekend.
Yeah, you did get the hotness in
I've
Carlsbad.
never experienced I was Googling on Sunday morning symptoms of sun poisoning. Like I didn't know what else to call it because heat exhaustion didn't feel like enough.
Yeah.
Like I've been exhausted from
Well, it goes
heat
to heat
before.
exhaustion to heat stroke, I believe is the next.
I don't think I stroked out.
No, you
necessarily.
would have passed out.
At one point, I was with Ayana for the weekend, and at one point she saw a little caveman on a sign. I said, "Oh, good, you saw that too."
Was it singing to you?
At least it wasn't running at her. I don't know what it was doing. What it was doing to her, but yeah, it was. We were in. We had the Rhoda Branch on Saturday, which is why I rolled my eyes when Mike said it was 100 this weekend. Is that all? It was 108 in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
You know what you do when it's 108? Nothing.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
I think it was 102 here. I don't know. You stopped counting after a certain point, but yeah. So, but good news is it wasn't heat stroke.
Yep.
And you did, almost have to copious amounts of Pedialyte.
Oh,
and
I turned into a
electrolyte.
5-year-old yesterday. I was drinking Pedialyte and eating ice pops, sitting on my couch in front of my air conditioner.
What an excuse. Told her out just to do that. So,
Right.
we still have lots of ads, so I
We
better
do.
get going. One thing real quick, I watched the first 2, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 episodes of Fallout.
Okay. I'm only still a half episode, and I need to get caught up.
But I'm intrigued.
I watched a couple of things yesterday that I definitely want to talk to you about because I know you've watched at least one of them.
Okay.
And I have some thoughts.
All right. But I've watched the first 3 episodes of Fallout,
Nice.
and I'm kind of into it. So.
Everybody I've talked to says it's
Pretty
engrossing.
it's pretty good. It's entertaining. I mean, and I'm coming from someone who I never played the game, so I don't have a knowledge of the game, and so I'm just watching it going in, and it takes a minute to kind of catch up to what they're going into, and you're kind of figure out the universe a little bit, but they explain it pretty well.
Yeah.
And I'm into it. So, and I like the dude. I don't know the actor's name, but he's been in like Big Bang Theory. He was the star of a show called The Unicorn.
Are you talking about Walton Goggins?
I don't know his name, but he's the main guy. He's the
Phantom.
Yeah, the guy with no nose. The red.
That's Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
He's known from a couple of things. He was in specifically. Doggone it. What's
the
that?
Righteous Gemstones?
Righteous Gemstones. Yep.
Yeah, he's the
Uncle Baby Boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there was a show on I think CBS for one season, maybe 2, called The Unicorn, and he was the star of that.
I've been told I'm a unicorn.
Yeah.
based on that series.
Okay. Yeah, he started that. But anyway, and he's kind of the one guy I recognized from the show. I think there might be one, but he was like the main, like the biggest star I recognized out of it. But it's pretty good. So
Nice.
anyway, let me give you the rundown.
Yes, sir.
We're going to replay some interviews this and next hour. Bill Williams, Chavis County Manager, joined us on Friday to talk about last commission meeting. We'll play that for you here in just a bit. Next hour, we're going to play an interview we had with Scott Pettis from First Church in Artesia. And they've got a special screening of a movie called Letter to the American Church, which deals with, it's a documentary series from Turning Point USA talking about Marxism penetrating not only America, but the American church. So we talk about that. They're going to be showing a screening of that in June at First Church Artesia. So we'll play that interview for you here in the 8 o'clock hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we'll have the folks from VFW Post 12184 join us. Of course, this weekend is their big golf tournaments. We'll get an update on that and other things happening through VFW here this morning. Plus, we'll have all of your features include the newses of local, national variety, a ton of commercials, both political and non, to pay for bills and fill up time that I'm not talking. So let's get started with your weather. Spoiler alert, another hot one today.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a lot of warm and dry air moving in from the southwest. It will be a little windy today, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Sunshine, and our afternoon highs will top out at about 100. Clear tonight, and we're in the mid-60s and still pretty windy. A little bit breezy on Tuesday, but not as windy. We'll stay in the mid-90s with sunshine, low 90s, and sunny on Wednesday. With your latest forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 23%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny, highs near the century mark today with west winds 5 to 10 this morning, 15 to 20 out of the southwest this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 63. Winds will be breezy out of the southwest, 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. They'll drop down 10 to 15 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, sunny and a smidge cooler, mid-90s, 94 for a high tomorrow. Winds out of the northwest, 10 to 15 in the morning. Out of the southwest, 15 to 20 for the afternoon. Tuesday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 59 degrees. Southwest winds 15 to 20. They'll drop down 5 to 10 after midnight. Sunny on Wednesday with a high of 93. North winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 95. Sunny and 94 for Friday, and then for your Saturday and Sunday, 96 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. So kind of settling into mid-90s for the week. After today, of course, one more bout with the century mark, and then looks like a week of mid-90s. All right, it is 7:19. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten. Quick break, and then we're going to play our interview with Chaves County Manager Bill Williams. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good May run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings with condition. We expect to sell 1,300 head, breaking down like this: 225 to 250 weighing cows and bulls, 125 pairs of bred cows, 950 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 25 to 30 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white-faced Charolais crossbred cows with Angus and Charolais calves at their side. These pairs 5 to 10 years old. 20 bred cows, Cross Equal Cattle Company here north of Roswell. Excellent quality black, white-faced Angus cross cows bred to Angus bulls. Cows 5 to 9 years old. Also 30 to 35 roping size calves in the sale for today. 29 calves, 2T Partnership, Pecos, Texas. Excellent quality black, white-faced Angus cross calves, medium condition, 250, 350 pounds. 100 calves, Bruton Ranch, San Antonio, New Mexico. Excellent quality Charolais crossbred calves, 1 round of shots, thin condition, 350, 550 pounds. 43 steer yearlings, Mr. Randy Smith at Carlsbad, New Mexico. Ex-quality black, white-faced Angus crossbred yearlings, 2 rounds of shots, right off short wheat, 550, 700 pounds. 56 calves and light yearlings, Kincaid Brothers, Pinon, New Mexico. Ex-quality black, white-faced Angus crosses, medium condition, cattle are weaned, 500, 750 pounds. 23 calves, Cross Equal Cattle Company here north of Roswell. Excellent quality black, white-faced Angus crossbred calves, Bow Shield Gold 7-way, 375, 550 pounds. 33 yearlings, Corrales Dairy here at Roswell. They're Angus Holstein crosses, shots, bunk broke, 500, 800 pounds. 120 calves and light yearlings, Mr. Don Young at Plains, Texas. Ex-quality 80% black, white-faced Angus crosses, Bow Shield Gold 7-way. These cattle weigh 400, 700 pounds. Sale time this morning, 9 o'clock. Sell pairs bred cows 10. Be selling calves and yearlings about 10:30 to 11. Next week's sale will be held on Tuesday in observance of Memorial Day, and we expect to sell 1,300 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Have you been following the campaign for Senate District 32? I'm still undecided.
I voted for Candy Azell before, but after 20 years, she's been in office too long. She claims she's tough on the border, but voted to give free health care to illegals, and Azell even voted to raise her own taxpayer-funded pension 3 times.
Candy Azell?
That's right, Candy Azell. She also voted to implement critical race theory in New Mexico.
Critical race theory?
The bill forces school personnel to take annual anti-racism training and rips away local control of schools and hands it to bureaucrats in Santa Fe. Worse, Azell voted to raise taxes by millions on health care for seniors.
Ouch. Who's Candy's opponent?
Chad Hamill. He's a local business owner and former fire chief in Roswell who is running to secure our border, fix our schools, and keep taxes low.
Chad Hamill. He's got my vote.
Paid for by friends of Chad Hamill.
Senator Greg Nybert is the only candidate in the race for State Senate District 27 with a strong conservative record on border security and stopping illegal immigration. Greg Nybert has voted against free college for illegals. He's voted against professional licensing for illegals. He has stood strong against Michelle Lujan Grisham, turning New Mexico into a sanctuary state for drugs, crime, and criminals. He has fought to end catch and release for violent criminals and will continue to do so. New Mexico is at the center of a border crisis because our laws make us a haven for illegal immigrants, drug trafficking, and cartel activity. MLG's liberal agenda has unleashed terrible harm on our state. That's why a vote for Greg Nybert is a vote to take back our border security. Greg will keep fighting against the march of the radical left that threatens to harm our way of life. Vote for Greg Nybert, a proving conservative voice for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, here to announce that our geraniums are ready. So now the great debate begins. Are they pink or are they raspberry sorbet? Are they orange or are they Caribbean coral? Well, whatever you call them, they're the prettiest geraniums anywhere. We raise them in our own greenhouse, then send them home with you to brighten up the world. So come get yours now while the selection is best. Don't worry about the silly names.
I heard that.
Yes, dear. Coming, dear. Right away, dear. Of course, you're right.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, now officially, Chaffetz County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mike?
Doing good.
Did you enjoy the rain?
It was nice.
We got a good rain.
I watched it from my window here as I was doing baseball, but yeah, it was nice to see that.
I was driving back between Lovington and Maljamar yesterday, and it's the worst rainstorm I've ever been in my life. My wife and I were coming back from Dallas a couple of years ago, and we hit a really bad hailstorm, and we thought the windows were going to get knocked out, but there was not the volume of water. There was so much water, I could barely make out the white line ahead of me, and you couldn't pull off the road because everything was flooded. I don't know how many inches they got, but it came down for 10 or 15 miles. It was, oh my gosh.
And that's where
just had to slow down and hope nobody was coming fast, and they weren't.
Well, good thing you got through that okay.
Oh my gosh,
and that's scary when you do those.
Yeah.
But downtown here, I don't think we got nearly that volume of water.
Well, I got 3 tents at my house, and we're very thankful for that and praying for more.
Right. I know. We get all 5 inches of our yearly rain in one day.
We're thankful.
I'm thankful for it, even though it's usually a little bit hard to deal with.
It sure is. Well, we had a good meeting yesterday. We had, first of all, we always do our proclamations and stuff up front. So we did our annual proclamation for Motorcycle Awareness Month. People to be courteous and watch out for motorcycles.
Weather's getting warmer, and quite frankly, Southeast New Mexico has some great motorcycle roads.
Motorcycle weather.
Whether you want to go up to the mountains or head out to the desert or whatever, there's some great places to go riding.
Yeah, when I was a couple of years younger, I rode not so much on the highway as out different places. And had a lot of fun with that. Reminds me of you and Sean were talking about socks a minute ago.
Yes.
So here's my twist. Back whenever I was in school, we wore tall tube socks with our basketball shoes. We looked really cool.
My start of my school, it was like that too.
Our short basketball shorts and our tall socks. And of course, I continued to wear those because I was trendy and stylish. And everybody says, that's not cool. That's outdated.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing these little booties. Guess what? The pendulum swings,
it's
man.
Back now.
We're going to get our tall socks back, and I still have a closet full of them.
You're ready. So, now, my question is, because the color combinations they assigned to the tube sock.
Right.
It's a white tube sock, but there was always 2 to 3 stripes, depending on your brand.
And sometimes you had a thin stripe and 2 wide stripes.
Yeah. But sometimes they'd use weird, like there was a red, white, and blue was always a popular one, but sometimes you'd have like orange and green.
Yeah.
Together, and I'm like, so I don't know if we need to, bring some of those 70s colors back to the fold. But
I think all of mine were Kelly green because of Hagerman Bobcats, you know.
Yeah.
So
down here,
so we had to have
team loyalty. I'm sure folks in Artesia had a bunch of orange.
So we'd burn orange socks and blue socks and
yeah,
those
but you probably couldn't own blue socks in Artesia in the 70s. So
well, with Dexter and Hagerman, no one wore blue socks in Hagerman. It was only green.
Only green, and
I mean, you could wear another color, but it better not be. Yeah. It better not be demon blue.
Right. Of course, people in Dexter, Carlsbad, and Lovington could join forces because their blues really were the same shade.
But anyway. I didn't want to miss that opportunity to
my younger days we had
gloat that my socks are coming back in style. I've been telling my wife for 20 years, someday, and here we are.
My younger days when I didn't care about fashion because I was a little kid, that's when they were. But when I got to the point where I started getting interested in girls, and when that happens, then I started caring about things.
Yeah,
like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we did our proclamation, and then we had a really interesting and unusual event happen. Local artist Greg Birch, who was on your show yesterday.
Yeah, he kind of let a little bit of that cat out of the bag before the meeting.
Of course, he's a world-renowned painter and has done some really amazing work. And much of his work is historically
driven.
Historically driven. That's a good way to put it. And he does a lot of Billy the Kid stuff and paints all the buildings and structures and people that were around.
Yeah, he likes to take especially buildings that we knew existed, but there's not really any photographs of or anything. And so he'll take personal accounts, letters, he'll dig and do his best to kind of recreate a viewable image of what that building looked like in its time, in its heyday, so to speak.
So he presented us with a painting, a very accurate painting depiction of the original Chaves County Courthouse. Of course, Chaves and Eddy County were created by an act to create Chaves and Eddy County in 1889. And one of the first things that was mandated was that they set up elections so they could actually elect our representation, because the first commissioners, of course, were appointed by the territorial governor.
Makes sense.
To take over.
Yeah, it was pre-1912, so we were not a state yet.
So they were appointed. So the first thing they had to do is establish how they were going to do the elections and get elected officials in there. And they also had to build a courthouse. And the original courthouse was built by the Pauley Jail and School Manufacturing Company out of St. Louis. $30,000 was the amount allotted to that. And
that gets you a couple windows nowadays, but
well, yes. Let's not talk windows. Windows are very expensive on courthouses. I can tell you that for a fact. Yeah. But anyway, he depicted the courthouse. Most people haven't seen photos of that. I've seen a few because I really research and hunt for that stuff. He presented that to us. We're going to find a place of honor. I'm thinking we'll probably should hang it at the courthouse, because when you're in the courthouse, you don't have it's over 100 years old, so you don't realize, hey, wait a minute, this is an ancient building. Yeah, by New Mexico standards.
It's a historical building.
And was there another one? A lot of people don't know that. So to have that there might be the best place to put it. I'd love to have it in our South office so I could see it more often.
And it gives visuals for timeline for people to create that timeline of what was here at what time and say, okay, this is what people were seeing and being a part of. I love that.
And that's the hardest part for me is I would love to see it every day, where I could step out in the hall and take a look at it or in one of our conference rooms. But I think it probably deserves a
commit
place
more
of
crimes. You'll get to see it more often. I kid him. Have more court cases. You get to see
I think it's a place of honor in the courthouse. But we still have to evaluate where and how we would do it and give it its due.
Yeah. So, well, it is a government operation. We have to have at least 4 or 5 meetings to decide whether. I'm just kidding.
Well, hopefully we'll get to it quicker than that.
But big thank you to Greg for doing that.
Oh, absolutely. You cannot believe it. I can't wait for people to take a look at it. We'll get a picture of it posted on our Chaves County website so that people can see it. If they're not at the courthouse for business or whatever, or in the interim.
When you're in a better mood.
Yeah. So we'll make sure it's posted so people can see it. It's just really amazing. I mean,
we got to see it. He brought it here and previewed it for us. Man. So it's a beautiful painting.
Like I say, it's one thing for someone to donate artwork to you, but when it's someone of his caliber, oh my gosh. I look around your office and think, what did you do?
He keeps blessing us, man. I was like, dude, you're so appreciative, but you'll have to give me a penny every time you see it. Really,
he and I spoke for an hour or so last week, and I'm very interested in local history. He's very interested in local history, and we had a good time talking about it. So
sounds like you got a few cups of coffee to do discussions
we
ahead of you
definitely are
here.
going to have to get back together. So we also had another presentation from the Carlsbad Irrigation District.
Okay.
So Carlsbad Irrigation District represents the farmers from Fort Sumner all the way down to Carlsbad. You know, our valley is a very productive valley as far as agriculture is concerned. It's not very wide, only about 50 miles wide, but about 100 miles long, 120 miles long. And
it's like a big straw.
Actually, it's longer than that. I think it's about 150 miles long. But anyway, Carlsbad Irrigation District represents all the farmers in that district.
Okay.
So a few years back, the Bureau of Reclamation, who's in control of all the dams, did a Title Transfer Act.
Okay.
And I'm unclear exactly on all the details, but they assigned the dam to the Carlsbad Irrigation District. Came riding in on a white horse. We're going to do something nice for you. We're going to give you this dam so you can operate and maintain it and everything. Well, the thing that they didn't tell them is that there's a life expectancy on
was it about to die?
on the gates on the dam that they open and close to allow the water in and out, to control flooding, and to allow for agriculture.
Just handed you a lemon.
Exactly. It was kind of a bait and switch, it appears to me. You know, I'm a car salesman. I'm going to give you this.
Right.
And it's mandated that you change the engine at 50 to 75,000 miles, or in this case, 50 to 75 years. What was well over 75 years when they gave it to them. And in the fine print, it says, and you will be responsible for replacing the dam gates at a cost of $36 million on the local farmers. You know,
That's a big
Carlsbad
womp
Irrigation
womp.
District does not have a lot of money.
Right.
You know, they are not wealthy.
So they got
folks.
handed a big old bag of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have to pay, now they don't have to pay 100%. They only have to pay 68% of the cost of $36 million.
Let's build two then.
You know, the dam was built in 1936, and the gates are originals. They've been patched and fixed, and they need to be replaced. They're still operational.
Some things are good to be historic. These are one of those things that maybe historic is not the best.
Is not the best way to do it. So they came and gave a presentation to the commissioners yesterday, and they've requested that we send a letter to our Congress in Washington.
Okay.
Apparently, Senator Lujan is working with them to try to, it will literally take an act of Congress to change this so that they're not responsible. They're mandated to replace them, but, you know, they don't have a dog in that fight, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of an unfair and
someone passed a buck and they just got left holding the bag is what happened. Yeah.
And the Bureau of Reclamation says, hey, it's not our responsibility. You have to replace those gates. But we're in charge of the dam, but you have to replace those gates for, you know, pay 68% of the cost of a $35 million project. They don't have money. They don't.
Some account got a promotion pulling that move.
This is not a good thing.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but we will prepare a letter for our county commission to evaluate next month, and they'll determine if they would like to sign that letter. I think we're all certainly in support of agriculture in Chaves County and
we
up
all
and
eat,
down
and we all
the
gotta
Pecos
eat.
Valley, and we
all need to make sure all
we
of
need
that's
to
taken care of.
support those who support us in agriculture,
Especially,
and I feel confident that they'll be,
especially in an industry that already has enough people trying to destroy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Between that and oil and gas, as we've talked many times.
Yep.
Another thing that we did yesterday, nice segue, thanks, sir. The commissioners passed a resolution in support of the EPA. Seriously.
All right.
We're supporting the Environmental Protection Agency's proposed rule 20.6.8.
Okay.
New Mexico Administrative Code. Or the New Mexico Environment Department is actually who it is, not the Environmental Protection Agency. But,
Gotcha.
But anyway, you know, often we don't see eye to eye with them.
That's true.
They have in their water portion appropriate reuse for produced water from oil wells.
Okay.
And it can be reused. There's a lot of water, you know, is pumped down the hole or comes out of the hole. You know, I'm certainly not an oil and gas person,
but there's practical uses for
But
it.
there is a lot of water that if you just dump it out or dump it out on the ground and pick up the ground and haul it to a land farm, you know, you're not utilizing the water for anything productive or useful. And so they have identified the areas where that water can be used. And in our part of the country, we don't have a lot of water to use for everything. So, you know,
whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting. That's the the saying around here. Yeah.
So for instance, you could use that produced water to water roads, and you know there are many uses. It can be cleaned, it can be reused. That it can't be used to grow food, and I get that, you know, because there could be some contaminants in it that could be passed on to food, and they're not allowing that, but they're allowing other ways to use the produced water in a beneficial manner that offsets the amount of water you'd pump up.
Sure.
The good water, you know, if you want to call it that.
Well, it's at the end of the day, it's in the earth. It's going back to the earth in a beneficial way.
Well, you would think that this would be a no-brainer. Everybody be on board
Sounds
with this. Hey,
smart.
Because we came to the table, we compromised, we said this is what it can be used for.
And at the end of the day, it checks everybody's boxes because the green folks are happy because it's there. But at the end of the day, it's a financially smart move.
Right. Unless you're attacking oil and gas. If you want to stop oil and gas, then you're going to say, oh, absolutely everything you do is horrible and you're ruining us no matter what.
Yeah.
And so there are groups of people in the large population centers, I won't say what side of I-40 those are on.
Put it this way.
That are opposed to this rule. To this proposed rule.
But they'll oppose anything.
They'll oppose anything that has to do with oil and gas.
Exactly. They
or
don't even
agriculture. They don't listen. They don't care. They want to impose their will upon the rest of us who are providing for every school, hospital, and road in the state of New Mexico. The oil and gas has provided the funds for that.
Yeah, not to mention every pen that they write their complaints with, every comb that they run through their hair, all oil and
every
gas.
Every plastic bottled water.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, all the things that they know and love, even the pieces on their electric car, you know, the oil and grease in the wind turbines.
Yeah, that keyboard they're whacking on and they're putting their Facebook crap, that's all oil and gas, buddy.
Exactly.
If it's a plastic, it's oil and gas.
You know, but they continually seem to want to attack the things that make our neighborhood tick. And so, of course, we're supporting the proposed rule because it does meet the requirement to have a use for that for that water, and it offsets the use of water that we can use for other purposes.
Absolutely. It's a win-win for everybody.
You know, if you're talking about saving the environment and things, these are the kind of things you need to do.
Yeah. How can you be, let's put our attack ads together. They oppose saving your water. Well, let's put that move on.
You know, that's it. But there is a group of people within the state of New Mexico who supposedly are in protecting our environment that are opposed to using water for a use that offsets the use of water that you need for other uses. And go figure. You know, welcome to our
let's pack
world.
at them. Let's just say, look at these evil
welcome to the
environmentalists.
21st century.
They don't even want to save water.
Welcome to Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. We're all here.
Yeah, it's we're officially in the cuckoo part of the cuckoo's nest here. But yeah, it is. But anyway. Sorry.
My!
It is. It's supported
we could do
by the
a whole
county.
show on this. You know, I'm not sure that anyone's blood pressure would go down. I think everyone's blood pressure would go up, and I can't believe it.
And I'm on enough pills already for that.
So, yesterday we also had our road hearings. We do that once a year. In December, we come up with the schedule, how we're going to handle that. You know, there's nothing to preclude us from doing it every time somebody comes up. But I mean, some years you might not have any, and some years you might have one this month and one next month and one the month after.
Sure.
And it's a long process. So, you know, it wouldn't be so bad if just brought it to the commissioners and talked about it. It's okay, let's do it. But each one of the roads, whatever action they're requesting, we have to put together an agenda or an application. So
there's a whole process that happens to happen for each one of these roads.
Application has to come in, and then we have to appoint a board of freeholders. So there's 3 people who have no ties to any of the roads that will actually go out and view and make a recommendation to the commission. You know,
based solely on their findings and what they see. Yeah.
Right. You know, in my opinion, and I live in the city. I'm a hunter. I'm a rancher or whatever, and they come together and say, "Yeah, this makes sense to do it," or, "Hey, from my point of view, you know, I'm a hunter and I don't agree that this should happen on this road," or.
Sure.
You know, I'm from the city. I think that we need to improve this out.
Sure.
Whatever
it needs
whatever
to be
the case
taken
is.
over,
So,
or needs to be abandoned.
So that has to happen on every road. Then they give their recommendation to the commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
The commissioners then hold a public meeting. Everyone can come in. I'm in favor of this. I'm against this. They listen to both sides.
Don't take my road, whatever it is.
They listen to both sides of it, or don't fix my road.
Yeah.
There's as many people that don't want their road fixed as do.
Well, there's a reason why people live in the county,
right?
Isolated, because they're not exactly looking
Right.
for visitors and looking for people to hang out on there.
And so, this goes through this process, and then after they have the public hearing, then the commissioners themselves go out and actually set foot on the ground where that road is. They're not just going to look at pictures of it. They're going to go out there and see it for themselves, drive across the road, get to the road. One of the roads took us, I think I told you last month, we went 371 miles, all within the state or within the county. Well, technically, we drove outside of Chaves County through Eddy for just a little patch because it was kind of a shortcut. So we did get to one of the roads by a short piece in Eddy County. But even with that, we drove as much during that day within Chaves County as we could have driven from here to Liberal, Kansas.
Wow.
Our county is large.
It is a lot of acreage
and
there,
a lot has to go in. So the commissioners go out, they actually look at the road, they drive across the road, they know how remote it is or how close to town it is, and then they have to make a determination.
Sure.
Well, that's what they did. We had one road that was a road vacation. It was about 3/4 of a mile long. It was actually, the application was put in by the Chaves County Road Department. It came off of the main road, went a couple hundred feet across, whatever the main road was on. I don't know if it was federal land or what, but I mean, literally, you could see the fence to the private property with both eyes closed. Practically, it was so close to the fence. And so essentially it was a driveway to someone's house. And we don't do that. We try to get rid of those kind of roads because
only
your
one
tax
family
money,
or one person utilize it.
Your taxes shouldn't be paying to maintain
no more than you're
the
paying
road
for
to
my
house.
driveway.
Right. Exactly. So that was a vacation, and they decided to vacate that road. We had one road that was a new road request. And typically when we do a new road request, you have to deed the right of way to the county. Anyone that's living adjacent to it has to give us 30 foot on their side. So we have a 60-foot right of way.
Sure.
Then they have to bring the road up to county standards, and they have 6 months from the time that they approve it to.
Unlike the dam situation, you do have to bring it up to county standards.
Right. So we had one of those, but it's a little bit different because it goes only across BLM land. So there's a county road that runs adjacent to it, and this road tees off and goes across that down to some private property, and beyond that to pipeline crossing that oil companies and everyone use. So the federal government does not deed us right away. They just don't work the same way as a private individual, and we don't have any control over that. So what we did is we considered it, rather than a new road request, we considered it a maintenance status change because the process is slightly different. You still have to bring the road up to standards. We just don't get the legal documents
kind of
saying it's
what needs
our
to be
right
done,
of way.
but yeah.
And so they have from now till the end of December to bring the road up to standards. And whether the BLM brings it up to standard, where the landowner in between brings it up to standard, or whether the oil company brings it up to standard. Oil companies, I think there's multiple oil and gas companies. As long as somebody goes in and fixes the road, we'll be good.
Maybe they all chip in a third or something. Who knows? But they got to figure that one out.
Yeah.
And then once they do that, then the county will
in
say,
December,
all right,
we have the final approval. I mean, they're approved tentatively. Now the vacation is done. The second that it's voted on, it's done. But the roads that actually need some time to complete, that we give them a few months. So the third one, a very unique situation. This is the southernmost road, I believe, in Chaves County. Maybe another one further south, but it's also further west. So this, I believe, is the southernmost road on the eastern side of the Boot Heel.
Okay.
And it's a long way out there. It's mainly utilized. There's a rancher that has his cattle grazing there, and he has private property on the very far end. So it's 10 miles from his private property where he lives to his other private property on the other side of BLM, state land, everything. That's all public land, all good hunting ground. So, we do not vacate primary access to to hunting. So that was never anything on the table. But he asked, he says, this road's not passable. Hunters can't pass it. I can't pass it. Can't do anything. How can we fix this? And we've actually talked with him for a few years. So this year he put in an application for a maintenance status change. So it's the county has the right of way through the BLM land and everything because that pre-exists. I told you we don't own the right of way.
Right.
And
you just get
technically we don't own the right of way across that, but there is an existing right of way by a prescriptive easement, and there's a whole thing that BLM did back in I think 1977 RS 2477 roads, where they identified all the roads that had been in place and documented that those were actual roads, not a new road. So there's all kinds of federal government twist in there, but anyway, he said, I want this to become a maintained county road, is what he asked for. Well, it's 10 miles or more of very treacherous road. It benefits him and the hunters that go out there. And of course, the hunters, they don't care. And in fact, a lot of them say the more remote it is, the less people are going to be out here. The better my odds are to get the one that I want.
It's their honeypot, yeah.
And so everything has to be evaluated. For one thing, our road policy says that the minimum road is a 24-foot wide road with bar ditches on both sides, crowned a little bit, has to have the appropriate
full-on road stuff to it.
Yeah, and nobody wants that. That's not really what we need to do, and it would cost the county literally millions of dollars and benefit
3 people or a very small percentage.
Yeah. And like I say, maybe mess up somebody's opportunity
tick off a few others
to get the good hunt because they're willing to go the extra mile or a lot of extra miles up and down over the bumps. So anyway,
of course, you get hurt out there, you're going to want the smoothest road possible to get out.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Down there, it'd just have to be an airlift, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
probably.
Anyway, we determined that our road policy doesn't have kind of a primitive kind of a road. It needs to be a step over a 2-track, where you just drive across the pasture and your tires leave some ruts and you wind in and around mesquites and all that. County doesn't take roads like that, but we probably we have determined we need to put in a standard for kind of a primitive 10-foot wide, 12-foot wide road. Right. Doesn't necessarily have to have bar ditches, but it needs to be a good passable
something
surface.
Won't wash out easy.
Have some kickouts for drainage, so when the water comes down, it doesn't take out the road, but it actually diverts a little bit away.
Sure.
So that's kind of what we're looking at, thinking is probably needs to be done down there. They voted not to change the maintenance status on the road. However, we've been working with the Carlsbad field office of the BLM. They have committed to spending some money and getting that road because it benefits them and the hunters. They're the main people that benefit from it is the Bureau of Land Management. It's mainly their property. They're going to come up,
pick up the onus of some of the cost
They're
of
going to get it in better shape. We're going to create a different standard so that we can say, yeah, that's good enough, because we don't want a super highway out there.
Yeah, you don't want them to go overboard, but at the same time, we need something that you can get through.
We are not going to accept the road as a changed status where we have to maintain it on a regular and reoccurring basis like they would any other county road.
Gotcha. Okay.
Would never be available for chip seal or anything. They're just going to do a one-time thing is what they've committed to. But if they can get it up to that, we also have a vehicle in place that is not often used, but in a situation like that, we can allow the private owner to go on the property. We just have to have an agreement in place that says you have to follow these rules. You're welcome to take your dozer. In this case, it's probably more than a blade because, this is some rough, treacherous area. From time to time, he may have to take his dozer and fill in a washout so he can get to the far end of his ranch.
Makes sense.
And we're okay with that.
Give him the permission to do all that.
That doesn't use your tax money for something that's frivolous.
And to be honest, he's helping everybody, not just himself.
Right. So, and he's willing to do it. He just wanted a solution that would work so he can do what he needs to do.
And quite frankly, no one else probably cares as much as he does because, quite frankly, he utilizes it on a daily or a very often basis.
Well, between him and the BLM, the BLM, they're the ones that get the main benefit from it because it's their lands. It allows people access and promotes their agenda. So anyway, we feel like that was a win-win.
Yeah.
In December, we'll have to go back over those two again and make sure that everything's what it needs to be.
And this is really the work of government. The county government, this is how problems get resolved and things like it, just like this.
Well, this is government on the local level. These big things that happen in Washington that hurt more people than they help.
This is the good government
or special
side
interest,
we're talking about.
this will help the people in my in my area and cheat everybody else. We don't do that. Everybody has
This is what the should be about, is this kind of stuff. It's like, all right, we got a problem. How do we solve it? All right, let's fix it.
And
that's exactly
the same
what
way we were
happened.
talking about the dam, they're putting the burden of repairing something that helps thousands and thousands, 100,000 people on 500 farmers in the Pecos Valley.
Who don't have the resources to do anything like that.
That's what you're supposed to do. Is you're supposed to maintain, these big things and big projects, and not pass off your responsibility. I know we're running short on time, but let me cover real quick.
Yeah, we got about 3-4 minutes here.
Our next meeting will be June the 13th. We had to move our meeting because we had a conflict, and it works out well because we also have to canvass the primary election.
Okay. So June 3rd, that'll be up a week, right?
It'll be up a week.
So
That's
not
correct.
a week earlier, not a week later. Just
correct.
make note. So usually it's the other way around. But
And we will have
an
an IHC meeting. So the IHC, Indigent Healthcare meeting, will be at 8:30. The County Commission meeting will be at 9, and we will canvass the election during that same meeting. It'll be the scheduled meeting, but we have to have a canvass. Works out pretty good, actually.
Okay.
We passed our interim budget yesterday. That's the main thing I wanted to say. We've been working for months on getting our budget established. And the reason it's an interim budget, the numbers are pretty much final, except that we have to close out the year. So you can't have actuals, which would be the final budget, until we close it out. So the interim budget, all the commitments are in place, all that. We just have to wait for the end of the year to see how much money comes back, how much is expended, get an actual number, and then in July, towards the end of July. In fact, that meeting is moved forward a week to allow us a little extra time to close out the books and come in with actual final budget numbers, and then they'll approve the final budget.
Now, when you're at this level with the interim budget, is that stuff you have to submit to Santa Fe, or is that not until the final budget later, or does all this have to go up there too?
No, this all goes to Santa Fe as well, and they have to make sure that we're within
the
percentage
part of this too is
income and outgo.
Santa Fe has to greenlight everything they send up and back, so that's why it's little like this. And that's why I was curious, like, do they have involved in this, or they don't get involved to the
because
end?
we have our revenues and expenditures, and they have to be within a certain percentage of each other. You can't say, I'm going to spend $10 million and I have $1 million to cover it. They make sure that if you're going to spend $10 million, you better have pretty close to $10 million coming in to make sure that you're.
Then I got to pull those shenanigans over. I'm just like, where'd this come from? Yeah, I got you. But that makes sense.
And we did a budget adjustment, and shortly after that, we did an excess property thing. We have, if you are in the market for a Crown Vic, now is the time to go to govdeals.com. And we had several sheriff's vehicles that they've been borrowing parts off of and taking the upfitting, the lights, all the cool stuff that they have, making sure they had a use for it to save money. They are able to
expensive, and
to take that stuff off of a car that either blew up or was wrecked or whatever.
Sure, they cannibalize all the time as they need to. Yeah.
So those cars are now on the auction block. So if you've wanted a black and white car with a a spotlight,
I'll tell you that they're going to be high mileage, all of them. But as far as well maintained, they're probably
either
the
high
best
mileage or wrecked.
Yeah, but as far as maintenance records, the oil change, they're probably the most well maintained vehicles out there.
Yeah.
So even though they're high mileage vehicles, if you find one that's not wrecked, that's probably quite a good serviceable car for you for a long time.
You can.
I'll send my kid to college in a Crown Vic over some little, tiny little car. Yeah.
Hyundai Electric.
Yeah. Well, I'll put him in that Crown Vic. It's got a little metal around them. Absolutely. Yeah. So.
And our road department maintains all those vehicles. Just like you said, the second that they say, this part is a little sketchy, let's replace it.
Yeah.
These brakes, we could probably, squeeze another 10,000 miles. Let's replace them.
Absolutely.
And being proactive like that really goes a long way towards cars. Every single oil change. It's not like mine. The light comes on.
Right.
I'll get to that.
I'll get to it in a month or two.
A couple thousand miles later, I better go get the oil change. I'm almost to a second oil change.
I know it was 5,000, but you can go 8, right?
and I mean, the second that comes on, it is serviced and clean oil, the top of the line
cars
stuff.
will last longer if you take care of them like that. That's a proven fact.
Even the tires, on police cars, you and I can get along with their rejects for another 50, 60,000 miles.
Absolutely.
In their case, going at the speeds they go and and needing the dependability, they absolutely get new tires all the time.
That's the last thing they won't fail
them
them when they're in the middle of a high pursuit chase or a dangerous situation.
And next time the sheriff comes on, ask him to tell you about the grappler. I don't want to give up anything.
All right.
The sheriff's got some cool stuff.
He loves to. Yeah, he does have cool toys. So we'll see him in a couple.
They let me try out their firearms training simulator the other day.
I saw that. They were talking about that last time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
That is cool.
I respect our law enforcement, but after doing that and realizing what you have to do with a fraction of a second to determine what the proper thing to do is, I respect them even more.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that is
it does put their job in perspective.
And of course we are all praying for Chance Cavan. Thank him for what he did.
Great to see
Thanks for the Roswell
the
Police
reception he got
Department.
yesterday back in town, and I saw a great cool picture of I think pretty much all law enforcement hanging out with him there in that picture. It was really cool.
Good.
So.
And Roswell Police Department, all of them are top notch, and this is Chance's day to get prayers, but we pray for all of you guys all the time.
Absolutely.
But
well, thank you as always.
Thank you.
All right, we got 4 minutes. I got 4 minutes of ads to get in, so but we will see you next time. Thank you.
All right.
Quick break before news. Don't go away.
Senator Greg Nybert is the only candidate in the race for State Senate District 27 with a strong conservative record on border security and stopping illegal immigration. Greg Nybert has voted against free college for illegals. He's voted against professional licensing for illegals. He has stood strong against Michelle Lujan Grisham, turning New Mexico into a sanctuary state for drugs, crime, and criminals. He has fought to end catch and release for violent criminals and will continue to do so. New Mexico is at the center of a border crisis because our laws make us a haven for illegal immigrants, drug trafficking, and cartel activity. MLG's liberal agenda has unleashed terrible harm on our state. That's why a vote for Greg Nybert is a vote to take back our border security. Greg will keep fighting against the march of the radical left that threatens to harm our way of life. Vote for Greg Nybert, a proving conservative voice for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Have you been following the campaign for Senate District 32? I'm still undecided.
I voted for Candy Azell before, but after 20 years, she's been in office too long. She claims she's tough on the border, but voted to give free health care to illegals. And Azell even voted to raise her own taxpayer-funded pension 3 times.
Candy Azell?
That's right, Candy Azell. She also voted to implement critical race theory in New Mexico.
Critical race theory?
The bill forces school personnel to take annual anti-racism training and rips away local control of schools and hands it to bureaucrats in Santa Fe. Worse, Azell voted to raise taxes by millions on health care for seniors.
Ouch. Who's Candy's opponent?
Chad Hamill. He's a local business owner and former fire chief in Roswell who is running to secure our border, fix our schools, and keep taxes low.
Chad Hamill. He's got my vote.
Paid for by friends of Chad Hamill.
Michelle Lujan Grisham has been trying to keep a stranglehold on Roswell and southeast New Mexico for years. She wants to control our industries, jobs, and freedoms, but does not seem to want to control crime or our border. Enough is enough. This is Jared Hembry, and in my first session in Santa Fe, I stood up to her and the radical progressives. We must continue to stand for our principles. Please stand with me for a better, stronger New Mexico. Vote on or before June 4th for Jared Hembry.
Paid for by Jared Hembry for state representative.
You may be wondering why an Eastern New Mexico rancher wants to be part of our state senate. The answer is simple. I want our conservative values heard in Santa Fe. My name is Pat Boone, and I'm running for New Mexico Senate District 27. This beautiful state is primarily rural land, and my family's been ranching here since 1884. I'll fight for your land rights, your parental rights, and your right to bear arms. I appreciate your Republican primary vote on June 4th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Pat Boone, Mark McKay, Treasurer.
Along with several Hamas officials, accusing them of war crimes and crimes against humanity over the war in Gaza. Wall Street, the Dow down 13 points, the Nasdaq is up 113. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The UK government continues struggling to adopt post-Brexit border controls with the European Union. Britain's National Audit Office notes that a plan for such controls has been repeatedly postponed.
The introduction of new controls on imports at the UK's borders with the EU has been a difficult process, whose completion has been delayed 5 times. The NAO says this has resulted in spending on infrastructure and staff that were ultimately not needed. It warns that the phasing in of some checks on plants and animals has exposed the country to biosecurity risks. It calls for full controls to be implemented as soon as possible, and for government departments and the devolved administrations to work together to make this happen.
That's BBC's Theo Leggett. In his inauguration speech, Taiwan's new President William Lai says he seeks peace with Communist China. He's urging Beijing to stop using its military to threaten this self-governing island. News and analysis, townhall.com. What's in a name? Well, for one Texas community, the answer is plenty, although not quite enough.
Another attempt by the city of Kyle, Texas, to break the world's record for the largest gathering of people with the same name has fallen short again. That's despite 706 Kyles showing up at a park in the small community of Kyle. The current Guinness World Records holder, well, that goes to a town in Bosnia in 2017. That's when more than 2,300 people named Ivan got together. Jason Walker reporting.
90-year-old Ed Dwight, America's first black astronaut candidate, has finally made it into space some 60 years later. He and 5 other passengers took a ride aboard a Jeff Bezos Blue Origin rocket yesterday. The trip made Dwight the record holder for being the oldest person to venture into space. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
They call it the deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
By the way, thank you for the commenters online. They're talking about you and I's weight loss. They're like, hey, way to go, boys. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Antonio shouting out. And by the way, Iona nailing it. Electrolytes are what the body craves.
Right.
It's what plants crave, too.
What plants crave.
Mm-hmm.
You drink water like out the toilet.
Like out the toilet? I always love how they emphasize that last T. Like out the toilet?
Yeah. Sorry, we are idiocracy marks.
Mm-hmm.
We will continue to quote that probably until the day
Absolutely.
or until people prove that.
I actually heard somebody say
going down that path.
that they judge someone based on the answer to the question, do you enjoy the movie Idiocracy? Like, well, yeah, but it's kind of like a documentary at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I love the movie.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, and now I look at it as a path to what the future is going, and I'm like, yep, we've officially hit that stage in life.
What's that, sir? What's that, sir? Oh gosh, it's so good. Speaking of movies, I gotta touch on something.
Uh-huh.
So I ventured out last night, out of my normal YouTube bubble, and finally watched The Iron Claw.
What'd you think?
It is okay. It's a great movie.
Yes,
First
it
of all,
is.
it's really long.
It's a good movie.
Like you weren't expecting it to be as long as it was, but my
do you feel bad at that movie?
God, it is so sad.
So depressing.
Like you just watch how just one by one. It's basically, you know what it is? It's like they introduce the ensemble at the beginning of the movie, and then it turns into like 17 different mini movies of here's how this one goes.
Yeah.
Here's how this one goes.
Exactly. I wanted to say this for so long, but I wanted to wait till y'all saw it. That movie is good, but I felt god awful after watching it. I was like, well, shoot, I'm depressed for the rest of the day. Good
I will say
Lord.
this. What I was doing the whole time I was watching that movie, I had my Googler next to me. So I was like, what happened in real life? So I was like looking it up. I will say probably the saddest story of all of them is Mike.
The
one who was more musically inclined.
Yeah, he was more of a band guy.
And if you listen to the dialogue, he was, at the family dinner conversations, he was more focused on the camera angles and the entrance music. He's the one that gave Carrie the idea to use Tom Sawyer by Rush as his entrance music.
Yeah.
Which nailed it. But when they show that scene of Carrie, and I know, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, there's a scene where the Carrie Von Erich character slowly gets out of bed and you watch his spine like slowly stack.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, he's just... First of all, you weren't sure which one of the Von Erichs this was because they've done this a couple of times in the movie.
Yeah.
Show him the slow get up.
Yeah.
But then they show him get up and okay, he's on crutches. So he must have gotten into an accident when he went on a motorcycle ride right after winning the NWA World title.
Okay.
But what I did not realize, spoiler alert, is what actually happened after that, like the results of that motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
I did not know he lost his foot.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Did he? It looked like he wrestled after that.
Yeah, he tried. He couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
He was in too much pain. And that's what led to the painkillers and that's the scene that really got me.
Yeah.
That scene when he's on first of all, he does the jump and you're like, okay, now I know where they're at.
Yeah.
This is obviously the afterlife.
Yeah.
But the way they portrayed it, I mean, and obviously based on a true story, this part nobody could know.
Yeah.
But you kind of hope that's how it all ends up. And then they bring out the older brother, the Jack Jr.
Oh yeah.
Which I had to look that story up. Do you know how that kid died?
No.
So there was.
This is the oldest son.
He was the oldest son.
And
Jack Jr.
He died when I think when Kevin was like 5.
Yeah, he died. Well, he was.
Or he was 5. The
he
kid
was 5. Yeah. Kevin was, I want to say, like had just been born. He was he was just a couple of years old. So he was playing around a trailer thing, like a trailer lower razor thing.
Okay.
And basically he got electrocuted off of this trailer hitch and then fell into a puddle and drowned, essentially.
Jeez, what a way to go.
Horrible. But when they introduced that character at the end, that was the part that really got me. He's like, "You're my older brother." I'm like,
"Oh yeah." God. Well, and the premise of the movie is kind of, I mean, it's the Von Erich story, but it's told because let's face it, there's only one really left alive.
Yeah.
Spoiler,
yeah,
and that's Kevin, which is the Zac Efron character in the movie. And so the story's kind of told through his eyes, like everything's through his perspective, and so to me it's like and so but the whole premise of the movie is the curse of the Von Erichs, and they kind of claim, and I didn't catch the full story, but when Fritz Von Erich, the dad. Basically took his grandmother's name, maiden name, I think.
It was her maiden name.
Yeah.
And that family had dealt with a whole bunch of trauma in their
and
past.
They said that's what triggered the curse, so to speak. And this is when the oldest son passed, and then of course all the others sons, and what basically happened there.
And the little a bit of like the thing that took Michael out, for example, was he just took a bad bump on his shoulder. He probably could have gone on the sidelines and just let that heal.
Right.
He opted for surgery, went septic, and that led to his stroke and all the other stuff. And that's, to me, by the way, one of the hardest things for me to watch, like in cinema, is somebody portraying somebody who has had a brain injury.
Yeah.
Like that hits me harder than anything else. When like I see somebody who struggles to talk, it's like, that's the part that really. So the person who played the Michael Von Erich character, nailed it.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to touch on, Pam. Pam is Kevin's wife.
Yes.
Kevin Von Erich's wife. Still to this day, still together.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the way and I'm not sure, but this is the spoiler alert or whatever you want to say. So basically, how the movie goes is, the beginning is building the family, and they really showing you that relationship the brothers had and how that goes, and kind of wraps you in, and then they start killing them off one at a time in the movie. But at the end, it basically says, well, Kevin's doing well. The whole family, the compound lives in Texas. They basically live in a compound in Texas, and it's all on the Kevin Von Erich ranch.
Which is what he said on their first date. He said, that's what I would love to do, is buy a ranch and the whole family there.
Yeah, and so that's how the movie ends, and I'm assuming that's where they all live to this day. But it's literally, they just take you down. It's like, oh, by the way, everyone in this show is going to be dead by the end, but we're going to put a happy end and just end it this way.
It just sort of, it didn't bother me, but it's like, she went in on a mission. Pam went in on a mission. She was going to get her man.
Yeah.
Like she took if you watch the scene there, it's an autograph signing and they're all outside and Pam's kind of standing off to the side. She goes, and she walks up to him and, it's cordial at first.
Sure.
And she prompts him with everything. She's like, aren't you going to ask for my name? Aren't you going to ask? She's like, and then she's like, you're terrible at questions.
Yeah.
So she knew exactly what she was doing.
Sure.
She was setting up for like exactly what she wanted.
Sure.
And it almost felt like targeted. And when I saw that character, I'm like, oh, this is going to end badly. I was amazed when I found out that's the one relationship that makes the whole movie.
But the movie also makes it portray it like Kevin needed that. Like Kevin would have never pursued this woman had she had not basically threw himself at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because he was hyper naive. His whole life was
it wasn't
taking
because
bumps.
he wasn't interested, because he was completely foreign to him.
Right.
That
It's like that. It's like when they talked about their first hookup. It was his first hookup because he's been so focused on wrestling his whole life.
Well, and his dad Fritz, they kind of ran it like a boot camp. These kids were literally in boot camp. Growing up, and he drove them uber competitive, and the kids, they loved each other. They die for each other, but at the same time, those brothers were always competing against each other in some way, shape, or form, or some, something like that. They always, like, the dad set that up to where their whole life was they're fighting for something. You know what I mean?
Fritz, their dad, which they really made him a hateable character.
Sure.
Like
the actor, by the way, is all I can think of is he's the main guard in Shawshank Redemption. Most people know him from that.
Yeah.
He's the guy from that. By the way, Maura Tierney plays his wife, and I didn't recognize her at first.
Neither did I until about halfway through. I'm like, wait, that's Maura Tierney. Oh my God.
Yeah. I did not recognize her.
Like, it took me a second. She made a certain face that was the same face she made in Liar Liar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's who that is.
Yeah. Now she's aged some, but I'm sure some of it's makeup.
And it was, I think a lot of it was made up.
Her wife, but yeah, she was hardly recognizable at first. So.
But all in all, a really good watch. I hope that they do something like this. They give this treatment to the Stu Hart family. I would love to see the Stu Hart dungeon portrayed like this.
But yeah, and I will tell you this, as someone who liked wrestling as a kid but does not watch it now.
Sure.
I loved the movie. I mean, I've said it 100 times. I'm a mark for behind the scenes and documentaries on the Dark Side of the Ring and those types of shows. I watch every one of them because they're entertaining.
But it also is funny because as a modern fan, I love the flippy dippy do stuff where they triple Lutz or whatever over the ring ropes. But you go back and watch the stuff they're doing back then. They were hitting. Yeah. They were putting you in locks. They were stretching you out. They were like making sure you were going to get hurt.
So was David, and I know we got to move on here because I got to get an interview. But so was David the only brother that used the dad's claw? Because like the claw is Fritz's move,
right?
But I think David was the only one I saw in the movie actually use the claw, other than the dad.
Well, he got moved over because he was better on the mic, and then he started using the claw as his finishing move.
Right.
Eventually, when Kevin got his chance to wrestle Ric Flair, remember he used the claw and never let go.
Okay.
Like they disqualified him.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
about
and
that.
Flair came backstage, and he's just head dripping in blood.
Flair was like, "That was great."
He's
Thanks,
like,
man.
"You got it. Yeah, you nailed it."
That's right. I forgot about that. But I was wondering. I was like, did they all use the claw, or was that more, did David adopt it? Because in the movie, you really don't, other than, like you said that one time, but David was the guy that kind of, you never really saw Kevin use it except for that one time. And I never saw Michael use it.
And it's funny, if you look up Kevin Von Erich today, like every picture of him today, he's doing the claw.
Is he?
Like he's holding up the claw.
Interesting. But it's Fritz's move. He's the one who started it. So. Let me get the hour going here.
Yes.
We're going to play our interview we had with Scott Pettis from First Church of Artesia. He joined us on Friday. In June, they're going to be they're inviting all of Southeast New Mexico to a screening of a movie that's called Letter to the American Church, and it's Turning Point USA, and it's a documentary talking about Marxism penetrating the American church. And so we had an interview with Scott talking about inviting everyone out to a free showing of that in June here. So we're going to play that interview for you here in just a bit. Of course, we'll get you up to date with news and all that other stuff as well, too. Before we do any of that, though, let's take a look at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a lot of warm and dry air moving in from the southwest. It will be a little windy today, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Sunshine, and our afternoon highs will top out at about 100. Clear tonight, and we're in the mid-60s and still pretty windy. A little bit breezy on Tuesday, but not as windy. We'll stay in the mid-90s with sunshine, low 90s, and sunny on Wednesday. With your latest forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 71 already. It's going to be hot today. Humidity is at 16%. Winds currently calm at the moment. We are looking at sunny skies today. Highs near 100. They're saying 99 officially. Northwest winds 5 to 10 this morning. Southwest winds 15 to 20 for later today. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 63 degrees. Winds will be out of the southwest, 15 to 20. Gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. Winds will drop down 10 to 15 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, we're looking at sunny skies, mid-90s, and that looks like where we're going to be floating for most of the week. 94 for a high tomorrow. Winds out of the northwest, 10 to 15 early. Out of the southwest, 15 to 20 for Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, we're looking at sunny skies and a high of 93. North winds, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 95, sunny and 94 on Friday, and then 96 for Saturday, 95 and sunny on Sunday. So haven't seen Memorial Day yet. Get that tomorrow, I guess. All right, it is 8:20. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with Scott Pettis, pastor at First Church Artesia, talking about their Letters to American Church movie screening coming up in June. That's up next. Don't go away.
Have you been following the campaign for Senate District 32? I'm still undecided.
I voted for Candy Azell before, but after 20 years, she's been in office too long. She claims she's tough on the border, but voted to give free health care to illegals. And Azell even voted to raise her own taxpayer-funded pension 3 times.
Candy Azell?
That's right, Candy Azell. She also voted to implement critical race theory in New Mexico.
Critical race theory?
The bill forces school personnel to take annual anti-racism training and rips away local control of schools and hands it to bureaucrats in Santa Fe. Worse, Azell voted to raise taxes by millions on health care for seniors.
Ouch. Who's Candy's opponent?
Chad Hamill. He's a local business owner and former fire chief in Roswell who is running to secure our border, fix our schools, and keep taxes low.
Chad Hamill. He's got my vote.
Paid for by friends of Chad Hamill.
Mayday! 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 Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Trade in and trade up to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for thousands less during May Trade Days at the all-new Roswell Ford. The all-new Roswell Ford has new management and a whole new attitude. And this week, any trade goes. Stuck in your loan or lease? Roswell Ford to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth, regardless of make or miles. Get huge savings on new Fords with rates as low as 0% for 66 months with no payments till July 4th. Plus, we have a great selection of low mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. We've partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 1515 per thousand financed on select models with approved credit.
Hi, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture, and I want to tell you about our store-wide sale happening now. All items in every department are on sale. Upgrade your living space with power reclining sofas and love seats or beautiful sectionals with charging ports. Create ambience with amazing table and floor lamps. Get that long-awaited restful night's sleep with the new Serta mattress. Every department is on sale from our existing prices. So come down to Glenn's Furniture on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
They're watching you. They see your social media posts. They follow your family, your friends, and your interests online because they're planning on taking your money. All of it. They're con artists. They'll use your social information to build your trust and lure you into once-in-a-lifetime investments with promises of high guaranteed returns. But it can be avoided. The Securities Division of New Mexico's Regulation and Licensing Department can help. Learn to spot the red flags of investment scams at rld.nm.gov/red flags or call 505-476-4580.
At UNM, Lobos are building the future every day. Together, we're reimagining water sustainability, engineering the future of healthcare, pushing for progress and inspiring a generation of minds. Ignite your future at apply.unm.edu.
Are you looking for something fresh, or are you trying to find that confident smile you once had? Hi, this is Dr. Sarah Usher with Carabelli Dental, and I would like to invite you to our office to experience a new kind of dentistry. We have the most advanced technology and a highly trained team to provide you the best experience possible. Whether you're looking for a bright new smile or just want to make sure everything checks out for the best, call us today and set up your appointment for your next great experience.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
Ed Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for roustabout crew and a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screening. Ed Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 2801 North Freeman in Artesia. Ed Safety and Services is an equal opportunity employer.
UFO Festival 2024, Roswell, New Mexico. Explore, engage, and encounter the extraordinary. UFOfestival.com, July 5th through the 7th, where the unexpected becomes unforgettable. Paid for in part by City of Roswell Lodgers Tax.
During his time in the New Mexico legislature, Senator Greg Nybert has been instrumental blocking legislation from the liberal progressives in Santa Fe that would harm our way of life in this part of the state. Senator Greg Nybert is the only candidate for Senate District 27 who has the proven ability and expertise to fight against Santa Fe needlessly imposing their will upon us. Greg Nybert is a lifelong resident of southeast New Mexico and knows this part of the state well. Greg is for strong border control, Second Amendment rights, pro-life, and local control of our school board, and opposes illegal immigration, lenient criminal laws, and restrictive regulations against agriculture and the oil and gas industry. Please vote for Greg Nybert, a proven and experienced conservative champion for Senate District 27.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 17 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Scott Pettis with First Church of Artesia.
Yep.
Good morning, Scott. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me on.
Good deal. Well, you're probably wondering, well, we got enough churches in town. Why? No. We got a special event that's going to be happening at First Church here in Artesia in June. So you got a little bit of time.
Right. Yeah, we got about
put it on your calendars here and mark it on your calendars and get your thing here. But you are going to be doing a free showing of a pretty eye-opening movie.
It really is. Yeah. I happened upon it, by the grace of God, and saw it and said, yeah, the area needs to see this. We've partnered with Turning Point USA. In fact, I was on the phone with him on the way up here, going, hey, what should I say about this, and so on and so forth. And I think it's going to be a really good thing. And so what we're trying to do is because Artesia is a nice central location for Southeast New Mexico, we're going to show it there in our location, and we're inviting all the churches in Roswell, all the churches Carlsbad, Hobbs, Lovington, come join and check this out.
This is a all hands on deck.
It is.
Come here and see what has to be said here, and really it's it's based off a book. It's in a movie, and it's called Letter to the American Church, and it is talking about Marxism penetrating into American society, particularly into our churches, and it's really kind of explaining and showing exactly how that's being done.
Yeah, Eric Metaxas wrote the book, and Eric's a prolific writer, great writer, and two of the things he did before he did this is he had done a biography on Martin Luther as well as Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and it was the learning about Dietrich Bonhoeffer and his experiences he had in the 1930s, trying to call the German church to task as you saw the rise of the Nazi power. And they didn't say anything. The churches wouldn't say anything. They wouldn't stand up against evil. And they wouldn't call evil evil.
Sure. And now we're seeing it happen again.
We're seeing it here.
Yeah. And this is why we study history. This is for that reason.
Yeah.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly, so we can understand it and celebrate the good parts, obviously, but learn from the mistakes. When we see the writing on the wall, like we saw what Germany did pre-Hitler's rise here, the scenarios, the scenes, the incidences are lining up very similar to that, which if we're paying attention to the signs now, we can nip it in the bud before we got Hitler 2.0 or whatever's coming next.
And it'll be, the thing is, people are like, oh, there's no Hitler coming to America. Okay, maybe not a person, but a concept.
Or a mindset.
A mindset, a mass hysteria of way of thinking. And we can see this on our college campuses right now. I mean, this movie could not have been more timely with what we're watching on the campuses across America right now.
Part of this is the new warfare. We're already in World War. I don't care. You know what I mean? We're not in guns and tanks. I mean, Israel and those places. But, officially we're not in a World War II state. But this is the new world of war we are in. This is, China, our various people that do not like America, they're not going to come in with tanks. They're going to come in with TikTok, with hey, this is cool. Hey, this is it. And they're going to sell it to you like it's a good thing. And that's what's going on right now. We're seeing that.
I wish I had it off the top of my head. Sometimes the memory is not as good as I wish it was. But in the 1980s, we had a KGB officer defect, and he came over and he wrote a book. And I'd have to go find it. But he wrote a book about how they intended to defeat the American beast. And it wasn't a 5-year war plan. It was a 50-year subversion of the society.
You erode the foundation,
and we're in the and we're in, and you read it, and it's so prophetic as to what's going on in the world around us. And if we don't stand up against it, and it's one thing for the individual to stand on his own 2 feet, raise his hand, and say something, but the church is the stalwart of truth. We have the truth, and we have to speak it into society. And we can't be afraid of what's going to be said about us or who's going to come against us. We have to speak truth into society as it stands now.
Absolutely. This is, if you believe in obviously as Christians coming to this, you have faith in God, and this is. And it's God's plan, and part of me says, God's going to do, and you got to take care of your own. But this is part of what you got to see the bigger picture. Why you're taking care of your own. Why you need to make sure your family has the values and the things that we as Americans and as human beings desire to have. And because there's so many others in the world that want what we have, the only way they can get it is to erode us to their level. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And we have, and they're so good at if you speak out or raise that awareness, that you are instantly turned into you're vilified, you're ostracized, you're discredited, you're basically put into, that person's not worthy of their opinion because they're off the rails. And that's the tactic they're using nowadays. And we as people got to be aware of that. I'm not saying some people out there need to be made that but people are getting raw. I mean, and look at the Kansas City Chiefs kicker right now, and what he said at a private college's graduation ceremony under his own wasn't representing the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, or anybody else, and he didn't say anything that outrageous to me. He basically said, "Look, they're telling women, they're telling society that pursue your." He's saying is, you know what? Many women are just as satisfied being homemakers and more satisfied. That's all he said at the end of the day, and these people have a problem with that. But this is to the point of what you're talking about. This is how they erode those, and something that we as a society would have just said, that guy's making sense 20, 30, 40 years ago.
10 years ago at this point. It's going to change.
Yeah, now look at it. They're looked at as, like, quite frankly, crazy people. Manson and they're lumped in with these types of people. And that's by design, folks. This is part of the program here. This is the game plan of those who want America to not be the superpower that it is anymore. And so this is why we got to be aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm telling you this, we really want as many people as we can fit in the doors to come out, to come hear this. Particularly pastors in the town. I don't know all the pastors in town, so this might be the easiest route for me to get to them, right?
We'll have coffee and then go in.
Let's get them on the radio. If I can hit them up on the radio and say, please, and call us. I'll put my cell number out there. You can call me. You can talk to me and come down and let's discuss.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't stop here. And this
just watching a movie and being aware of it, you got to act upon it. So
we're partnering with, and we're going to look for more partners in the area with Turning Point USA. Faith is, we have a host of classes dealing with Christianity and civics that are to follow on, that we're going to host at our church, that we're going to look for places in Roswell, Carlsbad, and partner churches so we can all stand together in this area.
Well, and this is maybe that thing that, Christianity is under attack.
Yeah.
And you hear saying, like, united we fall, divided we, united we stand, divided we fall. Sorry, I reversed it. There's been a long week. But we all know Christianity has a little history of getting mad and hooping. That's why we got 37 Baptist churches in town and all the time and things like that.
Right.
Maybe it's time that we as Christians, whether you're Catholic or Baptist or Lutheran or whatever, start saying, hey, we can have debates on the details, but we all believe in one God, Jesus, and let's all fight for that over the people that don't believe what we believe.
I've held to that principle for quite a while, and I would call it, and another guy calls it, and I stole this, it's not my original thought, but mere Christendom.
Yeah.
We can agree on something as simple as the Apostles' Creed, stand up against evil where we see evil, and once evil's out of the way, then we can argue about when you're supposed to baptize.
Yeah.
We can deal with that later.
Yeah.
Let's agree the fact that right now we have a much larger enemy to fight.
So let's use this as maybe one of those launching points.
Yeah,
here.
Absolutely.
So the details here, June 14th, they're going to be doing the free screening of the movie at First Church in Artesia, which, if you're not familiar, it's 402 West Grand in Artesia.
Yep.
And now, do they need to pre-register to or can they just come? Because I know there's like a link to get tickets. And I don't think they're cost, but I think you do need to get a ticket to go, right?
We would like you to.
Okay.
We would like you to, just so we have a head count.
Gotcha.
Knowing what we're looking
at.
at.
So you could prepare for.
So we can kind of prepare for the crowd.
People, yeah.
But you can just show up.
Okay.
Yeah,
but do First Church Artesia a favor.
Yeah.
If you go, first off, you can go to their Facebook, First Church Artesia. You Google it. you'll find a link for the event page there, and there you'll find a link to the tickets. If you want to read more and learn more about what the documentary is about, you'll find all that information there.
Absolutely.
But please mark June 14th on your calendars. What time is it?
It starts at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
We'll have the regional director from Turning Point USA Faith. His name's Sloan Adams.
Okay.
Sloan's going to be there, give a quick talk, introduce the film. We'll watch the film, and then after the film, we'll have a Q&A between Sloan and I and with the audience.
Excellent.
And letting people ask questions, say, where do we go next?
Well, sure, and that's part of it, because I imagine you're going to have some questions after you watch this
Absolutely.
thing. That's the idea.
It is very thought-provoking.
And so let's all, brainstorm that and talk. It's kind of like book clubs with the library.
Yeah.
And they're great things.
Yeah.
I recommend if you do it and you all read a book and you get 10 people in a room reading a same book, you'll get 10 different opinions about that book. And I imagine you're going to get some of that from this film too.
We
It's
will.
by design that way.
Yeah.
And that's what the Q&A is for. It's like, so when you walk out of there, your answers should be completely, you have an understanding what's going on. Whether you like it or not, it's one thing, but you at least understand.
You may walk out thinking that guy's a nut job and I'm not talking to him ever again. But we'd
but
give us a chance.
I imagine you're going to be angry leaving this place because it's impacting. This is the root of us. It's attacking the very fabric of we as humans and what we believe in.
I hope people walk out motivated.
Yeah,
is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's true.
Ready
angry and motivated.
Ready
angry
to fight.
With,
right?
I should have corrected that.
Driven is
angry's
what
easy. We all angry.
Yeah,
now.
we can all get. Christians are really good at getting angry, telling you all the problems, and then we go, well, what's the solution? Well, I don't know. I got to go home. Football's on.
Well, and that's being said, when you get involved with these things, please take care of your own mental health and stuff too.
Absolutely.
Use your passion for constructive, instead of negative. It's put it this way: as a Christian, I get it, and as a human, it's easy. As a human, it's easy to go because that's natural instinct.
Yeah.
As Christians, that's where we strive to be better and say, you know what? No matter how much this goes against the fabric, like Jesus, we forgive. We seek. Now, don't be a weakling. Be strong. But at the same time, be graceful, be forgiving, be what, because the moment you stop that, then they win. You lost it. What's the point of humans if you were just savage and animal? I mean, what's the point?
It is,
and so you can't devolve to that.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, if you're looking for a church home too, I'm sure First Church Artesia would love to have you come. We'd
love to have you. We've got people coming from all over Southeast New Mexico, and it's really awesome. We celebrated our 120th anniversary last year, and we're kind of rebuilding and regrowing, and we've got a great focus, and we're trying to build up families for this fight, because the one thing we've got to remember is we can fight the fight right in front of us, but our children are going to fight the long battle. Our grandchildren are going to fight so our goal is to build up families so that they can strengthen their children, their grandchildren for what's coming.
And you know what? That's a great point, and maybe we should end it here. Do this not for you, but do it for the next generation of your family.
Absolutely.
Do it for your kids and your grandkids and your grandkids' grandkids.
Yeah.
And that's because if you want them to have the things you had, only way you're going to do that is to help to preserve that for the next generation. And that's really our job at this point, is to set the table for the next kids. You look at the big scope of humanity. Our job is to get the next generation prepared for whatever problems. And if we don't, then, well, you see what we're dealing with.
We failed. Then we failed. Right.
But again, A Letter to the American Church is the name of the documentary. It's also a book of the same name if you'd like to get a copy and read it before the event, to kind of give you a little bit of background here. And then, of course, the event will take place on June 14th, 6 p.m. at First Church of Artesia, 402 West Grand. If you like and follow, or at least like the First Church of Artesia Facebook page, you'll see the event there. If you Google First Church Artesia, it should pop. I mean, a Google or Facebook search there, it should pop right up, and then make plans to attend this. Come hear it for yourself. Come see it. Come see the evidence. See what's being laid out here, and especially in places where the internet has everything, and sometimes it's a little hard to focus on some of that. This has kind of done that for you, and gives you the ability to kind of see it in one concise documentary.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Good deal. Scott, is there anything we missed that we wanted to
I would just also say, if you want to check us out on artesiareform.com.
Okay.
Artesiareform.com is our website.
Okay. You guys do your Sunday services, streaming them, everything?
Yeah,
too,
you can download our app. We're live streamed on Roku, Fire TV, every one of those platforms.
Yeah.
We're all over the place.
So if you feel like, well, I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I still need God, get online.
Yeah. Come check us out.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. Nothing wrong with church in your bathrobe. It don't mind, church.
Well,
wherever you get church, you get church. That's fine by me.
Well, and I don't want to say it's a specific flavor, but I did 25 years in the Marine Corps, and I'm a retired Marine, and so you get a little bit of a fiery focus when I'm in the pulpit. So.
That's right. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Marines, and by the way, don't call them former Marines.
Yeah.
Do not do that. At best, Marine Corps veteran.
Yeah, right, retired.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or just keep it Marine, and
there
they'll be
you go.
fine. Just call Marine, you're good to go.
Absolutely.
It's just a pro tip here for folks. They get salty when you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for your service, both in uniform and in the cloth. We do appreciate that. And anytime, I would love to see you again soon. I know.
Awesome.
I know. You talked about boss more than I do, but anytime you got stuff in this neck of the woods, we'd love to have you.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Over the next several weeks, we want to give you 5 key elements to a great marriage. This is taken from an article by Drs. Les and Leslie Perot. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage. The first one is ownership. taking responsibility for the good as well as the bad.
1 Corinthians 11:31 says, "Judge yourself so you won't be judged." It's talking about the judgment of God, but it also applies to our relationships, especially the ones that are closest to us, like marriage. If you'll just take responsibility for your own actions, it's so much easier for our spouses not to have to point out and criticize us.
So we have to take responsibility for our actions and our reactions, our attitudes and our mistakes. You know, most people would learn from their mistakes if they weren't so busy denying them.
You aren't responsible for what your spouse does. You are responsible for doing your part. So just decide today to do your part and take ownership.
My name is Pat Boone, and I'm running for the New Mexico State Senate, District 27. My deep-rooted connection to the land and understanding of the challenges facing rural communities make me uniquely qualified to represent the interest of District 27 in the State Senate. I love this district and its people, and I look forward to representing you in Santa Fe. I'd appreciate your Republican primary vote on June 4th.
Paid for by Committee to Elect Pat Boone, New Mexico Senate, District 27, Mark McKay, Treasurer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. A couple of teams made it all the way to Friday before closing down the regular season, and one in baseball. That was top-seeded Goddard in the Class 4A playoffs. They made it to the semifinals before losing to district rival Artesia by a score of 8-5. Meanwhile, Dexter was still alive through a large portion of Friday and almost made it to championship day on Saturday because the Demons played 3 games on Friday after losing over on Thursday. Dexter had to fight their way through the what used to be called the consolation bracket, but you still got a chance these days in a double elimination tournament. Dexter defeated Santa Fe Indian School by a score of 10-2 and then nipped Robertson 8-7. But then Dexter fell to Cobre, final game Friday, 11-1. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a lot of warm and dry air moving in from the southwest. It will be a little windy today, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Sunshine, and our afternoon highs will top out at about 100. Clear tonight, and we're in the mid-60s and still pretty windy. A little bit breezy on Tuesday, but not as windy. We'll stay in the mid-90s with sunshine, low 90s, and sunny on Wednesday. With your latest forecast, I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All across America, this is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Second quarter stocks still rising. Fed minutes come this week. NVIDIA earnings on deck. May stocks are still rallying. Wall Street coming off another winning week. The market's third consecutive. Last week's gains propelled the major indexes into positive territory for the second quarter, despite a rough start. Positive inflation data helping boost stock prices this month. Last week's consumer price report showing softer inflation, more in line with the Fed's targets. It has investors hopeful for rate cuts sometime later this year. Still, Fed Chair Jerome Powell says inflation's too high. We'll have Fed minutes released Wednesday. They're expected to show more light. Retail earnings season heating up. Lowe's reporting tomorrow morning. Consumers pulling back on home improvement spending, and Lowe's quarterly revenue targeted over $21 billion. That would be a more than 5% decline from a year ago. NVIDIA earnings after Wednesday's closing bell. Revenue there forecast to be up more than 240% last quarter. NVIDIA represents the third largest stock now by market cap behind Microsoft and Apple. The stock is trading at $928 a share. Please join me twice each weekday for the Lou Dobbs Business Report right here.
Business news you need to know. Keep listening for more. This is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
I've been hearing a lot about Lang Insurance. They sell luxury home insurance to high net worth individuals in all 50 states. Call Kevin Lang at Lang Insurance, 866-964-4434. He's an expert in reviewing your current coverage to save you money, leaving you with your current insurance company or moving you to a less expensive one. And clients rave about his skills and the diligent professional service he provides. Your call, they quote, you save. That's 866-964-4434 or visit Lang, INS,
atopus.com.
Have you been following the campaign for Senate District 32? I'm still undecided.
I've voted for Candy Azell before, but after 20 years, she's been in office too long. She claims she's tough on the border, but voted to give free health care to illegals. And Azell even voted to raise her own taxpayer-funded pension 3 times.
Candy Azell?
That's right, Candy Azell. She also voted to implement critical race theory in New Mexico.
Critical race theory?
The bill forces school personnel to take annual anti-racism training and rips away local control of schools and hands it to bureaucrats in Santa Fe. Worse, Azell voted to raise taxes by millions on health care for seniors.
Ouch. Who's Candy's opponent?
Chad Hamill. He's a local business owner and former fire chief in Roswell who is running to secure our border, fix our schools, and keep taxes low.
Chad Hamill. He's got my vote.
Paid for by friends of Chad Hamill.
Artesia General Hospital's Rehabilitation Center is here to help you recover and get back to the activities you love. Rehabilitation services include physical, occupational, and speech therapy, all led by experienced, licensed therapists. From symptom management to patient education, customized home exercise programs, and family support, Artesia General Hospital's integrated approach to rehabilitation is designed to facilitate your best possible recovery so you can get back to work, back to play, and back to life. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/rehab or by calling 575-736-8174.
Celebrate and save during the Memorial Day blowout at Roswell Honda with a lot chock full of amazing vehicles priced to motor, like a 2023 Chevy Malibu, just $359 a month, 2019 Jeep Cherokee, just $319 a month, or a 2014 Honda CR-V, just $229 a month. Get a 12-pack and a Mexico vacation voucher just for stopping by, a grilling set or mini grill with a test drive, and an Albertsons gift card with purchase. Then join Roswell Honda Saturday, May 25th for free hot dogs and drinks, stuff for the kiddos, and your chance to win a gas and charcoal combo grill and a $100 Super Meat Mart gift card. The Memorial Day blowout on now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Have you been admitted to the University of New Mexico? Then it's time to sign up for new student orientation. Whether you're an incoming freshman, transfer, or non-traditional student, at NSO, you'll learn the ins and outs of life as a Lobo. From class schedules to student activities, services and resources to campus living, plus everything in between. So, are you Lobo ready? Your time at UNM begins at NSO. Register for your orientation at nso.unm.edu or apply to UNM at apply.unm.edu.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:54. Got a few minutes here before we get you into the top of the hour and news and all that good stuff. Stay tuned next hour, around 9:15 or so. We're going to have the folks from VFW Post 12184 here in Roswell. I believe it'll be Mac Dyer, the commander, and Jason Burke, junior vice commander, will join us. This weekend is their big golf tournament, so we'll talk about that with them, and of course get an update on other things they've got going on with our local VFW Post here too. So that'll be next hour. So
another little fun series I checked out over the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm only 3 episodes in. I haven't started 4 yet. The Bear.
I started to watch that, and I had trouble getting into it.
Really?
I need to start back over. I may have not been in the right mindset.
I think I just kind of got on a lip kick this weekend.
Yeah, you
after
a lot
watching
of lip.
after watching Iron Claw.
Shameless.
For the record, the character Lip in Shameless is the same guy from the Iron Claw who plays Kerry Von Erich.
Yes.
He's also the main guy from the Carmy is the character's name from
Our guest
The Bear.
here, Roy, by the way. I just got a text.
I gotta say, have you ever worked in a restaurant, like in food service, like in the back in the kitchen?
When I was 16, I worked at a busboy as a busboy in Po Folks.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you know as well as anybody, it is one of the most hectic and just high intensity workplaces there could
And that show
possibly
kind
be.
of stresses that.
Oh, it nails it. That's what like the way they're called behind corner. I mean, the way that just the little things, like somebody left X-Acto knife kind of slightly open and it sliced somebody's face. Just those little things.
I have a couple friends, one in particular that grew up with, and he was more my brother's friend, but neighborhood friends, everybody's friends. And he's in that, like a chef in that kind of, and so he kind of said, that show does a real good job of portraying what life is like as a chef. It
from
really
both
is
sides
pretty,
too.
Yeah,
Because like
really
the second, you understand, Carmi is like, he comes from this world of like Michelin star cuisine, so he's like a French trained, Escoffier chef.
Yeah.
And in the second episode, I'm not gonna like give away all much, but the head chef that he's working under is Joel McHale.
Yes.
And it's fantastic. And the way he just berates him and rips him down. And then that character gets taken and put into this like diner atmosphere.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're making sandwiches.
And they're what, third season now or two seasons?
I think they're just about to start their fourth.
Okay. I know it's a FX.
Yeah, it's FX.
It's on Hulu. But I think they initially put it on FX initially. So, but it started like around COVID, around 2021, something I feel like was the first season of that. And I watched like first episode or two, and I just had trouble, and then I just kind of got sidetracked. But I need to start that one and pick it back up. It's like Stranger Things. Like first time I tried that one, and then I sat for a year or two and didn't watch it, and then I got into it.
Right.
I think The Bear's another one of those for me that I just need to sit. Like I tried to watch with my wife, and I think she wasn't into it, which made it a little harder to watch. So I just need to sit down and
give it the old go, the old college try.
Yeah. Kind of like Fallout's another one. I knew full well she's not going to watch.
And that's one of those. I know as soon as I started, I'm going to finish it. So I haven't started. I haven't fully gotten into it yet because I'm worried about the binge.
And it was Friday night after I got done working and everything, and I kind of like, I want to watch something. I was like, you know what? Let's check out the Fallout. I didn't really want to devote. I wanted, because I was like, anything like that one, I was like, I can watch it, not take it serious. It's not like, and so, but now I'm getting into it now. I want to watch it, but yeah. And then I'm behind on like 2 other series. So
there's just so much. That's after I get through at least one season of The Bear, I'm probably going to move over to Fallout just so I can kind of, finish that off and we have something to discuss.
But but The Bear I need to give it another chance because it does look good. Pretty much, if you're a person that has knives tattooed on your arm, you probably like that show.
The scene, the part that got me was right at the beginning. He didn't have the money, like the meat delivery wasn't what he needed. It was 25 pounds versus 250. So he like drains the quarters out of his vending machine, out of his video game machines, to use that money, like a sack of quarters, and then like trades in one of his like coats or something like that for a hunk of meat.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole thing about how he cook it longer because it was bone in, so you have to braise it. Like it was really like it's so high intensity, but also like pretty accurate to like what's happening.
Sure.
Like, where are my onions?
It's cooking food, and they turn it into that.
That's just fun.
Yeah, but I need to give that one a go. So and try it again. But I did. I bailed on. I watched I want to say at least the first and maybe start the second. And when it just
fell off.
Yeah, it just got thrown to the wayside.
I think there's maybe only so much of that series that you can really delve into.
I think part of it too is it's a lot of intense. It's a lot of like in your face. A lot of like it's got that Breaking Bad vibe to it where everything seems to get more and more escalated.
It does, but also it doesn't, because Breaking Bad is really good about pushing things, like delaying things. These long, slow ports. From the start of the show to the finish, it's just like habra, 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 habra. Like,
but see, to me, that's movement. How when I started Breaking Bad, it was like that. Like they get right into it, and they're dealing with a body in a tub, and you're like,
right.
It's like, can I at least meet the characters first?
You've already got one dude chained up in the basement, a body bathtub upstairs.
Yeah. So,
Jiminy Christmas, give me a second to breathe.
Quickly, and so the Bear is that same way. You listen to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND Roswell.
I'm Rich Thomason. Israel's prime minister included in a group of people for which arrest warrants may be issued.
The chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court says he's seeking arrest warrants for Israeli and Hamas leaders, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in connection with their actions during the 7-month war between Israel and Hamas. Imran Khan adds he believes Netanyahu, his defense minister, and 3 Hamas leaders are responsible for war crimes and crimes against humanity in the Gaza Strip and Israel. I'm Charles Dilatesma.
A caretaker president named in Iran following a helicopter crash that killed the country's hardline president along with the Iranian foreign minister and several other high-ranking officials.
Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi has died in a helicopter crash on return from a visit to a province on the Azerbaijan border. He was 63 years old. Heard here, Raisi was inaugurating a dam in his last few moments before he left in a helicopter which ultimately crashed.
And that's correspondent Karen Chamis. Former President Trump's New York trial is winding down. Mr. Trump's former lawyer returning to the stand again today.
Today, Michael Cohen back on the stand, putting the landmark case on track for jury deliberations that will determine whether it ends in a mistrial, an acquittal, or the first ever felony conviction of a former American president. It's still unclear whether Trump will take the stand in his own defense. Out of the courtroom, he's continually said he's not guilty. Julie Walker, New York.
Oklahoma and Kansas, the latest states to experience violent storms, including some confirmed tornadoes. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 46 points, the NASDAQ 101 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
South Africa's highest court has ruled that former President Jacob Zuma is not allowed to run for parliament in a national election next week because of a previous criminal conviction.
The court said the South African Constitution bars anyone who has been convicted and sentenced to more than 12 months in prison from running for office. Jacob Zuma had argued that he served only 3 of his 15-month sentence. That was after his successor, President Cyril Ramaphosa, granted him remission. Mr. Zuma's face will, however, still appear on the ballot paper as leader of the newly formed MK party in the May 29th elections. South Africa's electoral system has voters choosing parties rather than individual candidates for president.
The BBC's Anne Soy. Millions of Indians across 49 constituencies casting ballots as the country's 6-week-long election enters its final stages. News and analysis at townhall.com. A horrific crash at a railroad crossing in western New York State in a Buffalo suburb.
A community is mourning the deaths of 3 people in a pickup truck, including a child killed when the vehicle was struck by an Amtrak train. Authorities say a 6-year-old boy is among the 3 people killed in the accident Friday in the small town of North Tonawanda, New York. The other victims were a man and woman in their late 60s. Authorities say the train was on its way from New York City, heading to Niagara Falls when the accident occurred, and that no one on the train was injured. Local media is reporting the pickup truck became trapped between crossing gates when the Amtrak train came through. I'm Jackie Quinn.
This morning, crews refloated the container ship that caused the deadly collapse of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge back in March. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 on Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
It's Monday, but it is the Monday
what do
before.
you want from us? All right, it's Monday.
Yeah, but it is the Monday before the Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
There's a lot going on.
That's right.
People are feeling a little festive and all that. Yeah. Got a little vacationitis.
About time, too. About time we had a little long weekend. It feels like it's been a minute.
I'm starting to get a little vacationitis myself, too, because my trip's coming out here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to, like this weekend, we're like planning and getting things together for it.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, this is like a thing now. Now it's like feeling real. Like before, it's just like, we're going on a trip. Now I'm like, this is a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that.
Going on vacation.
I'm ready for some downtime.
That's exciting.
So.
I don't know. I've just heard so many horror stories coming from cruises.
Yeah, but you think about it, it's like an airplane.
No.
Listen, hear me out here. Is gazillions of people get on a cruise ship every year.
Sure.
And you hear about 1 or 2 incidents on a cruise.
Okay.
Same thing with airplanes. Gazillions of people get on an airplane every year, but 1 or 2 people you hear about their instances. And so, by and large, most people have a fun time on the cruise. Yes.
Okay.
There are differences on a cruise that some people get salty about. I'm not one of those people.
What I would compare it to versus an airplane flight, a dirigible flight.
Dirigible flight.
Yeah, if we're gonna compare apples to apples, you're getting on a cruise ship. You get on a plane, you're getting on there, you're going somewhere, you're getting off. It's a couple hours. Even if you're going to like Singapore, it's 17 hours most.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's get on, get off.
Right.
Whereas on a dirigible, a blimp, something you would be traveling not for the destination, but for the journey therein.
But you're not living on it for 2 weeks or a week or 4 days.
For like a dirigible, like if you're. My idea is like the Hindenburg, what they wanted it to be was the cruise ship of the sky.
Right.
That they wanted all these lavish rooms and a dining hall and concerts.
But
and
it's nothing like
all these things. But it would have been. It would have like stayed up for a whole week.
They
is
could
what
have
I'm
never
saying.
compared it. It's just
That
physics
being
wouldn't allow it.
Okay, Mike, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. You're taking the beginning of this and canceling out the end of it. So what I'm saying is you get that many people in a confined space. And I understand cruise ships are huge nowadays.
Yeah.
Still a confined space.
Sure.
That many people in a confined space for that long, it's a petri dish.
Oh, yes and no. Sure, you can get sick. But you know what? I think you get sicker in the plane because you're closer in proximity all the time. And you're breathing the same air the whole time. A boat, you're not like that. You get out, you're in the open air, you see things, you do things. And by the way, yes, you are in a confined space that is very large. Oh, and by the way, you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, 24 hours a day.
Yes.
You can sleep, you can drink whenever you want, you can swim whenever you want, you can do whatever you want.
All those things sound great until you're stuck in your room with dysentery.
Well, that's 1 out of every 1,000 people that happens.
Okay, you know what did it
if
for
I'm
me?
going to worry about everything like that, then you might as well just cancel life. Because I can get just as sick getting on a plane or walking to the grocery store.
I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer on your vacation by any stretch. It's just, you know what did it for me? COVID.
Yeah.
Because after COVID hit, after all the everything shut down, you heard about all these horror stories of like people stuck on cruise ships during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's like they were stuck on this boat for like 4 weeks longer than they thought they were going to have to be.
Yeah.
And you've heard people say stuff like the poop cruise.
Yeah.
Things like that where it's like the plumbing backs up.
That's an isolated incident.
But what happens if like you're 1,000 miles out to sea and something goes wrong and all of a sudden your plumbing is backed up?
Well, then it's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad.
But it's no different than if you're driving to the Grand Canyon and your car breaks down and you in the middle of nowhere. It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad.
If you could play the what if game all you want.
I'm probably not going to breathe in Jim Bob's, armpit stink.
No, but you might end up in a ditch and forgotten about for a week and end up dead. That happens in New Mexico.
Bad can happen during every excursion.
You're trying to pick something that is very small compared to the big scope of things, because people that have never done it or experienced it hear that and think that's the norm, and it's not. There's a reason why there's multiple cruising companies that all make $1 bazillion doing this stuff. It is most of the time fun. I've been on 3 or 4 cruises in my life.
I know why.
I've been on nicer ones and I've been on crappier ones. But even the crappier ones are still better than most vacation experiences.
I know why cruise ships make money. I've seen the movie Wall-E. I know their target demographic.
Yeah.
It's from like this part of the country to this part of the country. It's right in the smack dab creamy middle.
Well,
I mean, yes, we fall into that, but it's like, and I mean this with all due respect, not you guys, but the general cruise ship occupant that you see is some fat schlubby couple from like Midwestern Ohio. Look, honey, they've got enchiladas.
You should meet my in-laws. They are none of those things.
They are not. Okay, fair enough.
And quite frankly, they cruise more often than any other person I know. They literally, they just got back on a cruise. They're getting on another cruise in August.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they just got back. And these aren't cruises like I'm talking about. Like Kim and I's little 7-day cruise to Honduras and all that. No. They're going to Europe, and they're spending 2 weeks going through. Like they just got done on a cruise going around Spain, and now this next one they're going in August. They're going to start in Norway and like cruise around there, and then literally go down and end up in Spain for 2 weeks. Wow. They're going all over, So they cruise a lot. They know cruising way better than anybody I know. They are cruise. And yes, there are some of what you're saying. Absolutely. I will never deny that.
And that's the problem, though. Anytime you hear anybody talking about the cruise ships, it's always that story.
Yeah. But to be honest, it's what you make of it. You can literally live your life as normal as possible on there, like you would if you wanted to. If you want to get up at 4 a.m. and go work out and do your life regime, you're as regimented or not as regimented as you dictate it to. And people that do white trash things are going to do white trash things on there. People that don't. That's just what happens.
It would seem like it should be, a cruise ship should, to me, be like the ultimate vacation, because I'm a man that loves a good bisque. Yeah. And you're not going to find better bisques than on a cruise ship. Yeah. At least that's what I've been told. So it seems like it would be right up my alley. It's
you just get to try foods. You get to, because then that's the thing, too. You go to the dinners and you get to eat things like try escargot and stuff you'd never normally eat.
Sure.
Unless an opportunity. And so that's part of the experience, too. And I like that. That, to me, that's fun.
And honestly, more power to you. I wish I could have that experience. Maybe someday I will. Yeah. Personally, now I'll keep it on land.
And I will tell you this. My wife and I, over years, we've been on a few cruises. The first couple times when you're broke and you're like, let me give the cheapest cabin possible to get on the boat, because you're not going to be in the cabin that much anyway, is the logic.
Right.
Well, you do spend time in the cabin and as you get older, because there's times where you want to get away from people and take a nap or watch a movie and get away from, everything. And so Kim and I's room is a little bit, we have a balcony. We have, we upgraded to, well, now we don't have a suite like a whole floor and because they've got those rooms too. Like you can upgrade to where it's basically a 2-story suite in a cruise ship.
Right.
And I'm like, a 2-story suite? What? This is like a penthouse apartment. No, we don't have nothing like that. But we got a room with a balcony and I can sit out on the balcony and have outdoor without dealing with the public per se. And so, it's nice. I do have an escape when it gets too much for me. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm going to walk down and get an ice cream cone. Oh, I'm going to go to the bar. Oh, I'm going to go gamble for a little bit. Oh, there's a show. There's a whole flying Walinda thing going on out in the pool area. I'm going to go watch that. So it literally, yes, the navigating and stuff, because there's a lot of people and stuff. It takes a little time, but man, I mean, if you've got nothing else better to do, you walk around. Why not? It's very. And plus, you get to see the world and not have to unpack and pack every time. You literally,
and that I'll give you. That is kind
amazing.
Of
I'm in Honduras and I'm like, I'm tired of looking at this. And you know what? Oh, the food here is expensive. I'm going to walk back on the boat and eat for free and eat real nice. And that's when Kim and I, if there's things we don't want to do, we were like, oh, everyone's off on shore. We're going to go to the pool because everyone's out. So we're going to go hang out in the pool. And so, like, there's a time there's nothing here I want to see. We walked around and saw what we saw. we're going back in swimming for 2 hours and there's nobody here.
That makes sense, and that's neat. The ports of call actually make it sound really nice.
Yeah.
But my one hang up.
Yeah.
If I'm, and maybe this is just a me thing.
Yeah.
If I'm standing on a deck and in any direction that I look, I cannot see land, that's going to affect me.
If you got those kind of fear issues, you're going to have a problem on a ship.
I just won't enjoy it.
To me, it's the opposite. To me, I look at it, I'm like, I'm at a place where not many human beings have been.
Mm-hmm.
I love that to me. In a world where we're full of human beings, I'm like sitting in a place that's like, let's face it, I'm looking at something that most people have never seen before.
True.
And to me, that's cool.
At least not in person.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's to me, that's, and for me, it feels like it reminds me that I'm a speck in a big picture every once in a while. And to me, I like that reminder. And cruising gives you that. And it's nice when 10 o'clock at night, I'm sitting on the deck smoking a cigar, watching the world go by. That, to me, is relaxing.
Which leads me to my next question, but I'm not going to bring it up on the air. Let's get to the rundown.
Yes, we do have the folks from VFW Post 12184 going to join us.
Did you have a thing?
Yes, Roy.
I thought we were comparing cruise ships to flying in a plane.
Oh, well, I compared
That's how
it
the
that
conversation
way,
started.
And that he was trying to compare it to an awful experience like flying in an airplane. I'm like, well, yes, but most people go through it and don't deal with it. You just see the stuff, the extreme weirdo stuff that happens online. Like most people fly and they don't have the issues that you see on a TikTok or Twitter video.
What I was getting at is a cruise ship, because you're on there for a long time, is less like a plane because you're on and off, and more like if you were having a cruise ship in the sky, which is what led me to dirigible.
Yeah, I'm just leading to bad experiences with a group of people and clammed up in a small area, and people, I won't never fly because of this. I'm like, well, to be honest, you do way more dangerous things by getting in your car and driving to the store.
True.
I thought Sean was saying like being on an airplane was easier than worse than being on a cruise ship. But then
I think it is.
But then now it sounded like you were saying that being on a cruise ship is worse than being on an airplane.
The worst experience you have on an airplane, at least within a couple hours you're off of that plane.
Well,
if I'm flying,
I would say not the worst experience.
Okay, if I'm flying, not the worst, but if I'm already in air, and things go wrong on a plane, I'm flying to Vegas. I know I'm going to be off that plane in probably a couple hours.
Or you crash and die.
Sure. But that applies with anything.
I understood, but that boat just doesn't sink on a dime. You're going to have a chance to. I'm just saying, as far as danger goes, I'll take the boat over the plane any day. Those little seat cushions that they give you to fart on and to get you to float around the sea. No, thank you. I'll take the big boat that you get in.
Yeah, I love your seat cushion can be used for flotation. That's great news when you're flying over Arizona.
Yeah. You ever seen the dinghies that you get into on a cruise ship? It's a full-on boat.
Yeah.
It's covered. I'll take that any day over the fart cushion.
And now, personally, I think we should stop talking about your dinghy and we should move on to the interview.
All right. Yes. The BMW Post 12184 is going to join us here in a minute. Let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. And I say quick, 4.5 minute break. It's not quick. And then we'll talk with the folks from VFW. Don't go away.
Why are outside special interest groups attacking conservative Candy Spence-Ezell? The PAC attacking Candy Spence-Ezell is funded by pro-marijuana politicians from Albuquerque and Las Cruces, who recently voted for free college for illegal immigrants and putting feminine products in boys' bathrooms in our schools. This effort is being directed by the disgraced senator who currently occupies this seat, who can't win another election after getting caught cheating on his wife with a teenager in Santa Fe. But he can't let go of power, so he's desperate to have his own puppet candidate win this seat. That's why they're lying about Candy Spence-Ezell's long-standing conservative record. Don't let them get away with flat-out lies. Candy Spence-Ezell has an unmatched record of fighting for our rights and our way of life. Get out to vote early, and when you do, vote for conservative Republican Candy Spence-Ezell for State Senate.
Paid for by Candy Spence-Ezell for State Senate District 32.
A bedroom is a quiet escape where I go for peace and comfort. This is Melanie at Glenn's Furniture. I know how important the most private room in your home is for your life and the lives of your family. That's why we offer a selection of bedroom groups that make living easier and more comfortable. Modern designs, bold curves, and stylish fabrics elevate your bedroom space. You'll find your new set easy to sleep on and even easier to own. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
Mayday! 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 Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Trade in and trade up to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for thousands less during May Trade Days at the all-new Roswell Ford. The all-new Roswell Ford has new management and a whole new attitude. And this week, any trade goes. Stuck in your loan or lease? Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth, regardless of make or miles. Get huge savings on new Fords with rates as low as 0% for 66 months with no payments till July 4th. Plus, we have a great selection of low mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. We've partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. $15.15 per thousand financed on select models with approved credit.
This is State Representative Jim Townsend. Because of the continued efforts of Senator Greg Nybert and others, Republicans have experienced a significant victory. A judge stopped MLG's attack on our local schools' ability to make their decisions on 4-day school weeks. Greg Nybert constantly works behind the scenes to support our communities. I wanted to tell you how much we owe him our thanks. Greg has been a leader protecting local control of our schools. He's one of the best assets conservatives have in New Mexico. Today, he's the only oil and gas expert we have in the state Senate. Greg is the best chance we have in the Senate protecting our jobs from destruction by the progressives and MLG. We must re-elect Greg Nybert because he protects our jobs, our freedoms in southeast New Mexico and New Mexico as a whole. Please join me in supporting Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from our Roswell local VFW Post 12184, of course, Commander Mac Dyer with us, and Junior Vice Commander, I believe is the
Junior Vice, fixing to be Senior Vice.
Senior Vice. Yeah. We'll just go with Vice Commander. Jason Burke joining us here as well. Good morning,
Call
guys.
me whatever you want. I don't care.
As long as you're there when the barbecue's ready, right?
That's a fat joke.
Yeah, absolutely. You call me what you want to.
I don't care.
When the cowbell rings to haul in the dinner, then we're here. So, But for folks not familiar, VFW Post 12184 is your Roswell local VFW post. And you guys have been really kind of growing and kicking butt here the last couple of years. And coming up this weekend is your big second annual golf tournament.
No, we just finished it.
Oh, it's
last week.
Off the date. I was thinking it was this weekend for some reason. I'm sorry. My apologies. I was thinking it was coming up this weekend. So you just had this past week.
Just had it.
So, sorry. Let's do the recap. How did that go?
It went awesome. I mean, I'm still recovering myself. I'm so tired. I mean,
I was about to say, it's a lot of moving parts to pull off a golf tournament. Yeah. So you guys were good deal. So was a lot of money raised? That's the important thing.
Well, we're still counting and paying the bills and stuff, but
look good.
We made a profit.
Good.
So
now, and the for this one, like last year, you picked a great local charity to help out. This one, you kind of focused on, hey, we need a new facility. Grace Community Church is an awesome host and have been supporting the VFW here since kind of the rebirth here over the last few years.
Just about, yes.
And but you have a good problem. You're outgrowing the facility in which you meet at, and you need your own place to stretch out,
need a home.
to do your own VFW things, to at some point host your own VFW events in your own facility and have your own meeting space. So the money that for everyone that came out and whacked golf balls around and ate copious amounts of food and had a good time, that money is going to for the future of the VFW here in Roswell. That's what it's for, is to make sure that the next generation of veterans come in, they got a place to meet, and we keep, because this is something that I don't think, when we talk about our veteran organizations, VFW, American Legion, all of the ones out here, they serve a role as, yes, they're service organizations, and it's groups of veterans that want to go out and serve the community. But really, the big thing about VFW is to serve its own, to be the mental health, to be a support system, to be a resource for veterans that need help, or just looking for camaraderie, or looking for life adjusting to being a civilian again. That's really what the VFW's real tentpole mission is. Yes, we everything else, helping community and getting involved with kids things and other things is important, but really the main thing that the VFW wants to make sure our veterans are taken care of, making sure they have access to the resources, make sure they have a place to talk to, a place to turn to, especially when they're dealing with life, and the way that they were taught in the military doesn't necessarily jive with how things are going. VFW is the place where folks seek respite, folks seek places that they're familiar and can people that understand where they've been, and really so to have a facility, have a place where you can meet, where you can socialize, that's as important as going out and going out to the nursing homes and doing all the service.
And it'll be a place, and it'll be a place too, that we can meet whenever we want, however we want, for however long we want, where we can plan our community focused fundraisers.
Sure.
And the things that we are going to do for our community, like our clothing drives, our food drives, our scholarship programs. It'll be a centralized location where we could meet and better organize those things as well.
And so it gives you a base from all other things to have. So, whatever future you guys decide you want to do with this post, you have a base to do that.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the beauty of VFW posts in general is yes, there's a mission, and they all at the beginning serve a same mission, but each VFW post kind of forms its own identity a little bit, and it gets its own tentpole passions and things, and that's usually driven by local demands and what local interests are. You go to a VFW post in Florida or in Kansas, some of the things that they're doing are probably not the same what you're doing here in New Mexico, but it's all. But that being said, you can walk into a VFW post in Florida and Kansas or here in New Mexico, and the same vibe is in each one of them. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. So this is why, thank you for everyone that came out and hit some golf balls and ate some food this weekend, even though I'm a week late behind the ball game.
You're taking a long nap.
Yeah.
That's all right.
My life's been one big
I hear you.
thing here lately. I don't know if I'm coming or going half the time, but we do appreciate everyone that came out, and I'm assuming get ready for the third annual here about this time next year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we had a lot of the great sponsors that we had out there were like, we're already prepping for you for next year. We're ready. We
believe in the mission.
Yeah, we had some. I think we had 5 repeat sponsors that have been our top sponsors for 2 years in a row. So, and we're hoping they'll do it again this third
year.
We'll be
hitting them up here in a few months for next year.
Yeah, we're starting to plan next. We're going to start it next month and start planning for next year.
I was about to say, usually right after you finish the one, you triage and do your assessments and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly for next year. So
yeah, once the dust settles, then it'll be.
Yeah. But overall, good event. Weather was a little warm this weekend, so I imagine a lot of people trying to stay cool.
Yeah, we went through a lot of water and sodas and beer. Everything keep people
I was gonna
hydrated
say, the
out
beer
there.
coolers were empty quite a bit. Like they're constantly keeping them suckers full.
Yeah,
Keep
it was
people hydrated. So
it was
it's
great.
my phone blowing.
Oh, okay.
People forget I do a show, and they think they want to reach out to me between 7 and 10 every day, and I'm like, you realize I'm a little busy, right? But they try anyway. So, but
Guilty.
I'm glad to see that the heat did not deter.
No, the rain that we got actually on Thursday, that little
that
helped out. You know, it made the courses were in great condition. You know, hats off.
You guys hit both courses.
Yeah,
over
we
the
had
course
Nemi
of
and
the
Spring
weekend.
River, and hats off to both of the staffs there. They did a great job at supporting us and taking care of us.
Which is kind of a unique thing to your tournament. I don't think a lot of the golf tournaments that we have in town, because we have a season for golf tournaments. Every nonprofit gets their weekends for golf tournaments and stuff. But I think you're one of the few that actually utilizes both Spring River and the Nemi course there.
Yeah,
so.
we've done 2 tournaments now. We've used all 3 courses in town.
Oh yeah, and the country club.
We used it last year. So
that one too. Yeah.
So we'll try to get everybody involved. And
so it's a golfers golf tournament. You get to kind of and I imagine it's fun for the golfers because when you play the same course. And granted, I'm sure most of the golfers have probably spent some time on all 3 of these courses at when the golfers.
Oh yeah.
But it creates a unique challenge each time. It's like a game of golf yesterday is not the same as a game of golf today. It's a whole different course.
It is. It's a little. I've been told by a couple of guys that I know of that regularly participate in tournaments.
Yeah.
And I've been told by them that this is actually one of their favorite ones
because they get a little variety, a little spice of life,
exactly.
a little taste of all that too. Plus, you treat your people good, and they'll come back. You fill them enough good food and beer, they'll come back.
Yeah. And we try to split it up on different courses too, because bring in some out of town golfers too, so they
sure,
you come in for a weekend, you hit 2 different courses.
Hey, we'll take out of towners money too. We need all that money to help for a good cause. So because you get it. I'm sure golfers here do get the feeling like every weekend I'm because they love to golf, and so they all participate, and so it's nice to bring in some outside dollars to be a part of it too, and obviously with the mission that is the VFW, you're going to find people supporting that in every circle in every town and every what the VFW does nationally here is supported. So even if it's for a local post per se, they're like, no, they're doing good work wherever they're at, and so I'll support that because we're all one country, we're all one place doing well. This is our we forget all that kind of stuff, and we get all wrapped up in our individual competitions and things, but every person wearing the uniform of VFW has the same mission.
Yep, taking care of veterans. That's what we're about.
Absolutely. So thank you to everyone that came out and golfed. And so what's wheels are turning now after the golf tournament's done?
We're the clothing drive that we started.
Yeah.
We kind of got wrapped it up. We still got to go through all. We got so much
ton of
stuff.
clothes.
We got a ton of stuff. We got to now we got to get it distributed out.
Okay. What's plans for getting that out? Where are you guys trying to get it to?
All the nursing homes is the top priority.
Okay.
And then if we have any extras, then we'll
where the need is arising, whether it's one of the homeless places or one of the churches or something like that, they can use it. And I guess if anybody's listening, reach out to VFW Post 12184 saying, "Hey, we got a need. I heard you got some extra clothes."
Absolutely,
Maybe.
we got a lot of
we got
have a bunch.
Yeah. And by the way, you can follow VFW Post 12184 on Facebook. You probably won't remember 12184, so just probably type in Roswell VFW and it'll pop right up.
Yep.
Like and follow it. Shoot your messages there too. You do have a VFW website, which I don't remember off the top of my head. It's a lot of
VFW12184.org.
Okay, I was thinking there's a lot of dashes and dots and everything.
And we're on LinkedIn as also. We have a LinkedIn website.
But that way you can kind of read more about the local post there if you want to kind of, learn about the mission and what it's about. And very nice website. And check it out and learn them. And of course, better yet, come to the next meeting. You guys will actually. You got a meeting coming up here by the end of the month here
on the 30th.
Excellent. So next Thursday, one week from Thursday here, and again it'll be at Grace Community Church because we haven't bought the new place yet.
Yeah,
so looking for that, but it'll be Grace Community Church 6 o'clock. Right?
7 p.m. on the 30th.
Very good. Come and if you are a VFW member, of course you're more than welcome. Already a member, always love. But if you're interested, a veteran, interested in learning more, come to the meeting. Come meet. Group of fellas here and learn little bit more about the opportunities through VFW as an auxiliary or as a veteran. They have an auxiliary unit here as well too, so the spouses can get involved with the veteran as well too here. So, and don't forget, we always think the dude is the veteran. Not always.
Not all the time.
Always. Sometimes it's both of the veterans. Sometimes the female's the veteran and the husband's the auxiliary, and that's awesome too. Bring it on down. We love all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So, but don't forget that sometimes we tend to think of the husband as the veteran. Like, not always. And a lot of times it's veteran.
Yeah.
A lot of married couples are veterans, both served, and that's how they met. They met, at a duty station or something like that, or, and life happens. You know how it is.
Yeah, I actually recruited one of the recruiters here in town, Army recruiter, and found out he was married. And I asked him, would your wife like to be part of the auxiliary?
Yeah.
And I found out she was active military too.
That's great.
So I said, well, I gave him an application. Go home and recruit her.
Absolutely. Well, and to be honest, that kind of turns into a family thing now.
Oh yeah.
That's how VA, the VFW, and all that turns into a family thing. Where now if you got the spouse and the both spouses are involved, and now their weekends doing VA stuff, and you get kids, and of course the kids come and get involved and part of the family as well too.
Kids can join the auxiliary.
Yeah. It's yes, there's an auxiliary, there's a VFW, but at the end of the day, it's it's the 12184 family, and everybody, yes, they have their own events and things, but they work together all for the same cause. And partner and share and do all that. So, so if you're interested in that, come to the next meeting. Come next Thursday. Come out, meet everybody, come see a part of it. It'll be a great community church there, and get there and just see what it's about. That's always a fun thing. And then, hopefully, days are numbered as far as number of meetings that are going to be happening there at the at Grace Community Church. At some point, have you guys found a place yet, or are you still looking?
We've been looking.
I mean, we're looking. We're always looking. I mean, it's tough because we can't. We're not a business per se that we can get financed if we want to buy something. So
sure, it's a tricky. It's a little nonprofit, but at the same time, you need a meeting space. That's bigger than a little storefront because ideally you want to have banquets and various other community events in there.
Oh, definitely.
So you need something of size, but at the same time, plus you need storage, and you need because a VFW post has things that it owns.
We have stuff.
They have stuff you accumulate.
We're collecting a lot.
Yeah, and obviously. And it's a little bit of both. Some of it's like collectibles and things like you go to a VFW or American Legion Hall and you see all the stuff.
Yeah, history.
The history, that's part of it. But
when we first started, the post fit in my backpack.
Yeah.
Now we actually have a big storage unit. We've got a trailer full of stuff. We got,
Yeah, and then and obviously then there's functional things for when you have your events and things, logistics, coolers and stuff.
Coolers and
things you need for events, and you got to keep that stuff somewhere, and you're tired of I'm sure one of you guys are tired of keeping that in your shed at the house. So the rest of the family's getting a little salty because you're taking up all the storage room. And, I get it.
I know exactly how that is. Believe me.
Why do you store all the cool? So we need this is what that's for, and so come next Thursday, and then of course hopefully here in the coming months. We get to announce a new home for VFW Post 12184.
Yeah, and if anybody out there knows of anything or has something that they want us to look at, we'd be reach out to us, hit us on Facebook or our website. You can drop a message on our website, and it'll come straight to
email. And if you're interested or question whether you're eligible for VFW or not, just hit them up. You get them a copy of the DD-214, and these guys will be happy to go through and see if you're eligible or not. You're probably surprised if you. Even if you, in theory, weren't in a foxhole per se, depending on your time of service, if you served in the military during a time of theater, war type scenario, like my qualifications were Kosovo when we were bombing Milosevic and doing all that stuff.
South Korea is a big one, too. A lot of people don't realize that they're eligible if they serve.
Exactly, If you're not World War II or Vietnam or Gulf War vet, it does qualify for more than that. So if you didn't serve in quote unquote the big ones, you know, you do your VFW, your service probably will qualify there.
Yep.
So please get your DD-214s to Mac or Jason or any of the post members, and they'll be happy.
You know, another one a lot of people forget about, like, is if you were in Cambodia for the purpose of the direct support of the Tet Offensive during the Vietnam War, that's also a qualification.
Kind of the stuff that was lesser known.
Yeah, it's a small window there, you know, from this date to this date, you know, but
they added it in there because there were some people that technically didn't qualify through the other theaters, but their service was just as combat theater driven as any of World War II or any of the other tentpole theaters of campaign. So.
Yeah, and we're still looking for auxiliary members to create our auxiliary. We got if somebody's interested, just reach out to us too, and we'll let you know.
And I'm going to tell you this every time: the auxiliary is generally the class of the VFW post. They're the ones that keep, because let's see it, the veterans are veterans. I don't care if they're men or women veterans; they're still veterans. And there's a certain brashness to every single one of us that we need auxiliary members to remind us to stop being brash.
Totally different mindset. Yeah,
and so. The auxiliary truly is the class of the post, and we need that. And it doesn't matter what VFW or American Legion post; it's all the same. It's the veterans are the veterans, and veterans do what veterans do. We're going to continue to do that. And the auxiliary, they're the wranglers. They're the ones that say they're the ones with the hook, saying, "All right, now this is getting ridiculous."
It's like herding cats.
Yeah,
you know,
they truly do that. So please, if your spouse or your is involved, we'd love to have you be a part of the camaraderie. And that's just, it's a social thing as much. We talk about the service side and all that, but it's a social thing. If you're looking to make friends, if you're looking to find new people to go hang out with and do lunch with, or you're fun golfing or whatever you're into. Odds are pretty good you're going to make some of those friends through VFW, whether auxiliary or as part of the actual VFW post as an actual member. Doesn't matter. All of that is part of that, and that's part of the experience. This is why veterans do VFW, is to meet the friends and meet people, because all of us, yes, we did some bad things we probably hated or didn't like in the military and seen and done, even if it's just stuff we completely stupid, never understood. But there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool experiences. Most of us seen the world. I mean, that's just it. We're all 18, 20-year-old somethings, and we're in Japan or Korea or just places we would never. And there's a lot of fun that comes with that, and that's part of the experience of VFW. Is that camaraderie, that shared experience. Hey, were you over in Kunsan or Osan or wherever? Doha, whatever it was, remember that? And that's you remember that one guy who did that one thing all the time over there? That's part of the experience, because you all have those shared experiences. Even if you didn't even serve in the same time, there's still shared experiences that.
Yeah, definitely.
Shoot some of the same dirt.
And so that's what it's really all about. And so if you're looking for friends, if you're looking for social, if you're looking for your own mental health a little bit, I invite you to come out to a VFW meeting and come chew some dirt with people that probably understand you a little bit. That's really what VFW. I mean, the other stuff is important, but at the end of the day, that's what makes the VFW the VFW. That it's those meetings, the people shooting the bull around the table, having a good time, and that's at heart what VFW is there for. To give all the things that we love about this country and everything, and support the people that helped preserve that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what it is. So come out to the meetings. Come have fun. Come meet people. Come work hard. Don't get me wrong. We're going to push you to work. And we're going to serve. And you're going to get involved. We got for this golf tournament to get bigger and for this building to happen and for more money to come in, because, one golf tournament ain't paying for a couple 100,000 building. I'm sorry. It's, golf is good, but not that good. And so we need more hands on deck, more people to get involved. The only way this VFW grows is more people getting involved.
And of course, more people means more ideas, more input, more help.
And like we said last time you guys were on, joining, even if you can't commit to the meetings and things, joining the VFW also gives you the strength for when you do need to fight legislatively or any of these circles. When they come to our elected officials about a veterans issue, They come and they, it's no different with our local folks.
Exactly.
You're always knocking up and saying, look, I got 150 members over here ready to on our thing saying, and on a bigger scale, they're doing it in Congress. We got 1 million VFW members that are backing this up.
It's like signing a petition.
Exactly. And so even if you can't commit to everything, please, your membership is important there. Even if you can't be an officer, even if you can't come every month to the meetings. Even if you can't participate in everything, the fact that you're serving, that you pay your dues and get involved. Please come to the meetings once in a while. Please get involved. You kind of everything. But, even if you do a little bit, that little bit is so much, it's good for yourself, but it's good for veterans across the board.
Goes a long ways.
Yep.
And it's helping everybody here. So even if you're like, well, I don't want to even play the roles and all that stuff, and great. But if be a member, get the card. Get the perks that come with that. You do get little perks and abilities to discount something. There's it's like anything else in America. You get perks for being a member. Yeah. But do it to help your other veterans, to be involved, and to when veterans issues are attacked, which they are every day, you've got people with ammo to defend it and to strengthen it and to make it better.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and we got something else coming up. So we can get more involved with the community and with the veterans, especially. We're kind of partnering up with Texas Roadhouse to calling it Patriots on the Patio. They got that little patio out there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to do it once a month.
Excellent.
We're still working out all the details.
So you come out and eat in Roadhouse, and they financially help out a little bit.
The Dine to Donate thing, it'll be the same time, but we're going to set up on the patio and probably have some kind of
just have a little gathering.
Yep, just to come and talk. I mean, you don't have, you have a drink, sure, have iced tea. We're going to order some hors d'oeuvres or whatever.
A veteran chew the bull session. Kind of
exactly.
Thing. Yeah, I love it.
With the community and
literally chew the bowl because we have some steak, and of course if you want chicken, get chicken. But we
had them both at the golf course.
Some weirdos don't like beef. I don't know what's wrong with you, but God bless you.
Yeah, that's right. But
I love that.
We'll get the dates out. I think the first one we're going to try to do is on the 29th.
Okay, here in next week.
Next week,
yeah. 29th is actually, that's also our Dine to Donate night.
So when you come out to Texas Roadhouse, matter of fact, tomorrow. I'm sorry, tomorrow is Historical Society. So if you want to support Historical Society, come out and get you a steak at Texas Roadhouse. And then the 29th will be VFW night out there. So we can get you so that's about a week in between. So you'll be hanging for another steak around that time. So, or go chicken, or go burger. They got or barbecue.
Or fish. They got
all
fish.
kinds of good stuff.
Fish,
Yeah. I see barbecue on there. I'm like, but I'm at a steakhouse. But anyway,
we'll get more information.
And big thank you to Texas Roadhouse for supporting not only this organization but many organizations in our community. It's
they're great.
When you get a chain like that, a national chain that does pretty well, and they come in, they kind of get how do we support. How do we do what we do? And they come in and invest locally.
And that's the cool thing about Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, it's a huge national chain. They probably, I would imagine, they've got a very corporate structure.
Absolutely.
But with Texas Roadhouse, it's so easy to
they understand that local connection.
The local connection. There's not a whole lot of loops and hoops that we have to jump through.
That's what keeps the doors open.
That's what keeps the doors open, but they've been wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful.
There's a reason why that parking lot's packed every time it opens up.
Oh yeah,
and it's because they got it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And
they do,
and they get invested in the community and everything else. And quite frankly, for the volume of people that go through there, they kind of get you in and out pretty quick. And like I've seen many restaurants with that kind of volume, and it turns into an all day affair.
Yeah.
We're not there. They got it figured out. That's the best I could say is they've got it figured out.
Got a good business model going on.
Yeah, they got it figured out, and we're so thankful that they support the VFW and many other nonprofits in our community because to be honest, this is the difference between success and failure for organizations like this. If you can't do this from time to time, and even if you only generate $100 that night, it's what keeps everything going, and not just the financial side, but just like you said, like you guys have been doing the Phoenix here and bringing it from the ashes, this VFW post. You guys have done that. It kind of almost went default here and kind of dried up. And you guys really, and so not only you're growing in things, but you're also still telling people there's a VFW post out there, and going to the steakhouse on a Tuesday or Thursday night or something like that is how you get the word out sometimes. And so we're very thankful for that. So.
Yeah, they're great.
Good deal. What else? Is there anything else we need to?
Memorial Day is coming up next week, Monday. We're gonna go out on Saturday the 25th.
Okay.
Put out flags at the cemetery, and then
and I believe there'll be some Legion and some other people doing that too. So it'll be kind of an all hands on deck kind of thing here.
Both cemeteries will be doing
I know South Park and Memory Lawn are going to have people doing flags with the American Legion, VFW, and volunteers. With the public is invited, encouraged, and we love seeing them come out.
Hey, if you want to come on out, we'll give you a handful of flags and
bring your family. Have the kids come out there and do it with you. I mean, to me, that's if you want to teach your kids Americana and why we do what we do. Have them come out and help pass out flags with all our veterans out here on next Saturday, the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And like I said, go to either cemetery. There's going to be veterans at both. Help out. Obviously, if you're a part of VFW, American Legion, go to where your groups are going. But please come support. We love to see families and others come. I know American Legion, we do the Wreath Across America thing around Christmas time, and I love
part of that too.
And I love. We need everybody on hands on deck there because we only get about 200-300. We got a lot more veterans that have graves than that. I would love to see every veteran in Roswell have a wreath around on their grave come holiday season. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get there. But we need you guys to be a support of that. So come out next week to the meeting. Come out to Texas Roadhouse on the 29th next week here. They usually start about 3 o'clock with the dine.
3 to 9.
What time is the actual
3 to
kind of
10.
sit down? And
probably it's like in 6 to 8.
6 to 8. So right in the dinner hour.
Yeah.
There, come in and come hungry, order you food, and sit down and have a chat. Good deal.
Memorial Day actual ceremony will be out there at South Park, the Veterans Cemetery there at 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. on Saturday. Yeah. So come out and celebrate.
We'll have guest speaker and all the stuff we typically do.
Come out and take. I know Memorial Day weekend, everyone's about vacationing and cooking and grilling and starting summer. I get it, but spend a moment. I'm not even asking the whole weekend. Just spend a moment and remember why we're celebrating that weekend.
Yes, sir.
I never. It's always good time to thank a veteran. Never will say that, but do remember Memorial Day weekend is to honor those that have paid the ultimate.
Those are the ones. Yeah, those are the guys.
We have Veterans Day to honor all veterans, but that being said, it's never a bad time to thank a veteran. But if a veteran does say, well, "Don't thank me," just move on. Some people get salty about it, but most people shouldn't and don't. But please remember, Memorial Day is to honor those that paid the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. And
those are the ones who didn't come home.
Yes, those are the ones that didn't come home, and we remember them every. And this is POWMIA. This is why every veterans organization. That's the heart of what they do, and Memorial Day really is the day to honor all of that. So
yes, sir.
Good deal. Do we get it all?
Oh, pretty much. Can I mention our top sponsors that helped us out in the golf tournament?
Please do.
And most of these are a repeat. Admiral Beverage. Admiral Beverage did a great job. I mean, Coca-Cola, Desert Hills Electric, Valley Bank, Crumlin Auto Group, Harvard Petroleum, and R Squared Services was our top sponsor. And Texas Roadhouse too. I mean, they did all the food all weekend, so it was.
And like you said, these people have been time and time again. Anytime VFW has a need, they step up and support. So big thank you to them. They get it, and you know what? Next year it's probably going to be the same group, hopefully a few more, but the same group that are stepping up and getting involved.
And a lot of these sponsors that he mentioned, they went beyond that $2,500 sponsorship. They did $2,500 and so much more.
Sure. What can we do? Can we offer you this? Can we offer our services?
Material things, beverages, food, drinks, things like that. They went above and beyond.
Love it.
Great. Yeah, they did awesome.
In a world where we got everything else, it's great to see people stepping up and say, we got to do more than ever for our veterans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially this year when inflation and it's been a rough year for a lot of companies. So and
now you got to take a loan out to get hot dogs. I get it.
And those are the mixed hot dogs too, not just the.
We're having a gourmet meal, spam. Because that's what we can afford. I hear you. So.
And we couldn't mention all the sponsors we had. dozens more that did smaller, stuff that, we don't have time to mention every one of them, but we're grateful to every small business out there.
Thank you.
Y'all are the heart and soul of, of what we do.
If we can't mention you by name here, we appreciate your unrecognized service. It is such, this is what makes the event a success. Without you, this weekend wouldn't happen.
Absolutely.
Just the straight truth. So thank you.
And the community itself, all the golfers and the people that came, a lot of the people that came to the dinner and the auction and the live entertainment, which was awesome. They did a great job. Matthew Palmer and the band, of course, they did a good job.
Everywhere he goes, and they puts on a great show.
Yeah, it was great because we closed down. At 11 o'clock, that was our finish time, and the venue owner came in, to check, make sure we're clearing out of there, and he's like, any Beatles songs? And they played him a Beatles song, and he gave him a tip. It ended really, really awesome.
That's right. So, pro tip: have a Beatles song handy. You
there
never know when it
Yeah,
might get you a little extra. But come on out next Thursday to the meeting. Come on out the 29th to Texas Roadhouse here and support. And if you want to learn more, everything, of course, look for VFW Post 12184 on Facebook, or go to VFW Post 12184.org and
drop us a line
and get there and be a part of it. Or, like I said, if you want to see face-to-face, they'll meet next Thursday at Grace Community Church at 7 p.m. here. So, good deal.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you all next time, all right?
Appreciate you.
Stay cool. I know it's easier said than done.
I'm always cool.
9:56, quick, commercial break before they kick me off the radio. I keep saying quick, and I'm lying. It's not quick. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll wrap up the show. Don't go away.
Have you been following the campaign for Senate District 32? I'm still undecided.
I voted for Candy Azell before, but after 20 years, she's been in office too long. She claims she's tough on the border, but voted to give free health care to illegals. And Azell even voted to raise her own taxpayer-funded pension 3 times.
Candy Azell?
That's right, Candy Azell. She also voted to implement critical race theory in New Mexico.
Critical race theory?
The bill forces school personnel to take annual anti-racism training and rips away local control of schools and hands it to bureaucrats in Santa Fe. Azell voted to raise taxes by millions on health care for seniors.
Ouch. Who's Candy's opponent?
Chad Hamill. He's a local business owner and former fire chief in Roswell who is running to secure our border, fix our schools, and keep taxes low.
Chad Hamill. He's got my vote.
Paid for by friends of Chad Hamill.
Are you or a loved one having a hard time getting to your medical appointments? At Artesia General Hospital, we believe that transportation should never be a barrier to good health. That's why we're excited to announce our new non-emergency medical transportation services. Each of our vans is wheelchair accessible, and our friendly certified drivers go the extra mile by meeting you at your doorstep and ensuring a comfortable ride to your Artesia General Hospital services. Rides are available Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Schedule your ride today by visiting artesiageneral.com/transportation or calling 575-736-8211.
Senator Greg Nybert is the only candidate in the race for State Senate District 27 with a strong conservative record on border security and stopping illegal immigration. Greg Nybert has voted against free college for illegals. He's voted against professional licensing for illegals. He has stood strong against Michelle Lujan Grisham, turning New Mexico into a sanctuary state for drugs, crime, and criminals. He has fought to end catch and release violent criminals and will continue to do so. New Mexico is at the center of a border crisis because our laws make us a haven for illegal immigrants, drug trafficking, and cartel activity. MLG's liberal agenda has unleashed terrible harm on our state. That's why a vote for Greg Nybert is a vote to take back our border security. Greg will keep fighting against the march of the radical left that threatens to harm our way of life. Vote for Greg Nybert, a proving conservative voice for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Michelle Lujan Grisham has been trying to keep a stranglehold on Roswell and southeast New Mexico for years. She wants to control our industries, jobs, and freedoms, but does not seem to want to control crime or our border. Enough is enough. This is Jared Hembry, and in my first session in Santa Fe, I stood up to her and the radical progressives. We must continue to stand for our principles. Please stand with me for a better, stronger New Mexico. Vote on or before June 4th for Jared Hembry.
Paid for by Jared Hembry for state representative.